Pokémon. Starting with Greninja, this video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 226. Fiona and the Mysterious Sea Mystery. Lugia rushed out happily. Zumu and Sirona followed closely behind him. As for Absol, he said hello to Zumu and went to other places alone, as if something was calling him. Little Lugia finally had a sense of existence. It was rare for Zumu to indulge himself, and he thought it was reasonable. It should be said that Zumu had a hunch that the secret realm was opened this time, and it was probably related to Lugia. In fact, this might be the legendary secret realm of the inheritance of the sea god! Slow down. Wait for me. The sea god's realm is not like the seabed secret realm. There is water everywhere, but humans can breathe and even talk here. Lailas, sitting on Zumu's shoulder, carefully observed the surroundings and did not feel anything strange. But for some reason, there is always a sense of being peeped. The same is true for the invisible Hoopa. His invisibility is definitely something that cannot be felt without the supreme strength. But for some reason, Hoopa also felt as if he was being watched. It's as if the invisibility is invalid. This is a bit weird. Zumu and Sirona were completely unaware and were still running around with the little Lugia. Hoopa wanted to remind Zumu, but he didn't know how to start. With his childish personality, he didn't know how to talk about such things. He could only hide this feeling in his heart and ignore it. And Lailas couldn't tell Zumu. The little guy was originally autistic, and now when he encountered such an uncertain thing, of course he wouldn't take the initiative to tell. Huh? Why is there nothing here? Where are my fellow tribesmen? Why is there no trace of Lugia? Lugia flew around for a while, stopped, and murmured curiously, I say, Lugia, why are you running so fast? I'm so tired. Zumu saw Lugia stop and shouted hurriedly. Hearing Zumu's call, Lugia also turned around and smiled apologetically. Sorry, Zumu, I thought I was the protagonist today. Yes, he has been fishing in troubled waters for soy sauce for so long. Lugia is a mythical beast after all. Doesn't he have any face? No matter how much I say in my heart, there will be a little gap. I can't always be Zumu's mount, right? Besides, an elf who doesn't want to turn over and take charge is not a good elf. Okay, I don't blame you. How is it? Did you find anything? Zumu walked in with a smile, holding Sirona's hand and asked. Sirona also looked at Lugia curiously. She didn't know Arceus, but she knew Lugia. Although she didn't know whether this little guy left by Loki was Loki's offspring, Sirona still had a deep impression of him, so she was more concerned about this little guy. Well, no, Lugia frowned and answered. Don't ask him why he frowned. The author said he didn't want to say it. No way. Didn't you say it seemed like you went home? Zumu asked doubtfully. I don't know either. It seems that there is a place I haven't found. Maybe there, I should be able to get the answer I want. After Lugia finished speaking, he began to close his eyes and used his superpowers to quietly feel the entire secret realm. Otherwise, it's magical here. The venerables of the pioneering team and Zhao Dan Yang all encountered this strange secret realm for the first time. It was full of seawater, but you could breathe. Damn, it was totally against science. Newton crashed to death on the seabed. Okay, it seems that there is a palace over there. Let's go and take a look. Lugia felt a small palace and suggested going over to check it out. Zumu naturally had no problem. Just take a look. Anyway, he was not afraid of the secret realm. Meeting Zumu can only be said to be unlucky for the secret realm, not Zumu. Okay, wait for me to call Arceus. Zumu learned to be smart and was ready to call Arceus to take his place. But thinking of Sirona around, the current Arceus was not big enough for the two of them to ride together. He decisively gave up the idea of summoning Arceus. Sirona, how about we take the King of Leave? Roar! The King of Leave made a whale and a pokeball. Forget it, I'll take you there. Seeing that Zumu couldn't find a suitable mount, Lugia spoke helplessly. What is this for? I'm the protagonist today. Okay, The protagonist also wants to be a mount? Sharona was a little confused at first. When she heard that she had to ride the King of Leave, Sharona almost said, "I choose to walk." Fortunately, she didn't say it, otherwise the King of Leave would cry in the toilet. Okay, then I'll trouble you. Zumu pulled Sharona with a smirk on his face and sat on Lugia's back. Lugia was too lazy to pay attention to Zumu, the trainer. After being a mount for a long time, he would get used to it. Forget it, I'll stand up when I get up, and then I'll ride the trainer. Arriving at the palace, Lugia actually felt the energy of a layer of barrier. Here, it seems that there is a barrier that doesn't want us to go in. Lugia started to report the situation, and Zumu turned around to look at the invisible Hoopa. Hoopa's invisibility is not open to Zumu, so Zumu can see this little guy at any time. You try? Hoopa heard Zumu say this, and nodded without hesitation, and flew directly to the palace. Bang! With a crisp sound, Hoopa pursed his lips and flew back with a bitter face. Zumu, it hurts. There really is a barrier. Zumu saw that Hoopa was hit and had a big bump, and hurriedly said to Lugia, "Be careful, try to see if this barrier works on you." After Zumu finished speaking, Lugia also saw what happened to Hoopa and immediately slowed down. Stretching out his wings and placing them on the edge of the barrier, Lugia carefully tested it. I can't get in either. Sure enough, Lugia's previous feeling was a bit wrong, and this didn't seem to be his home. Or, when he left home, he forgot to bring the key. Nephi. Just when Zumu was struggling to decide whether to retreat, a cute voice sounded from behind Zumu. Zumu turned around and looked. Oh my god, Fiona. Sirona was also stunned. Fiona? The Pokémon born from Manaphy and Ditto. The Pokémon that was based on the edge of legend and non-legend? The Pokémon that didn't know whether to choose a phantom Pokémon? That's the one. Fiona. Sirona, stop talking. Hoopa, is that Fiona? As an old kid, Hoopa naturally recognized the identity of the little cutie who suddenly appeared from behind at the first sight. Is it you who has been peeking at Hoopa just now? Hoopa asked hurriedly, remembering that Fiona can transform into water and move around in the water like a water elf. Nephi, it's me. Are you surprised or not? Fiona seemed to be very happy, and playfully flew around Hoopa and acted cute by the way. Chapter 227, Prince of the Sea, Manaphy. Nephi, do you want to go in? Fiona still remembered her business, and finally asked after making a harmless little joke. Zumu was speechless. Baby, you see we are stuck here. Don't you want to go in? Ha ha ha. Then Fiona will help you for a while. With a clear childlike laugh, Fiona stretched out her little hand and directly removed the barrier-like protective shield. Then looking at Lugia, Fiona said familiarly, your color seems to be a little wrong. The white color now seems not to be your original color. It has been modified before. Lugia's color is normal, different from Lugia's. Fiona seemed to see through everything, and did not give Zumu a chance to ask questions, and continued, go in, someone is waiting for you inside, especially that little Lugia. By the way, Hoopa, do you want to stay and play with Fiona for a while? Hearing this, Hoopa remembered Gengar and Alakazam that he had stored in the other dimension. He said quickly, okay, I have two more friends to introduce to you, let's play together. The children are playing, and the adults have to do business. After Zumu told Hoopa not to cause trouble, he followed Lugia all the way to the depths of the palace. Sure enough, there is indeed something mysterious here. This Fiona seems to know a lot, but she just won't say it. Zumu didn't force him to ask. After having the system, Zumu had long understood a truth. That is, if I get it, I'm lucky. If I lose it, I'm dead. Zumu, and accidents are equal. If there is no accident, why would I, Zumu, appear? Since I'm here, I'll make the best of it. There's no need to ask. Anyway, all the truth will come out sooner or later. Panic. It's not a big problem. It's all over. Lugia, be careful. There shouldn't be any danger. Zumu reminded at the right time. Since there is Lugia's opportunity here, it must be accompanied by danger. But looking at Fiona's state, there shouldn't be anything too dangerous in this palace. If you think about this logic carefully, it shouldn't be a spoiler. Okay, Zumu, Lugia responded and said that he was very steady. After all, He was Charizard's teammate and they had been together for so long. Stability was the first factor. If he was strict when he went out, he would be embarrassed to say that he knew Charizard when he came back. Moth, you are finally here. When Zumu and Lugia passed through the outer perimeter of the palace and entered the main hall, a voice suddenly sounded in the hall. To be honest, after so long, Zumu has become immune to the problem of the beast being able to speak. At first, he thought it was telepathy. Later, Zumu discovered that this thing seemed to be not as simple as telepathy. The beast can actually speak! Anyway, it can't be explained. Just tell me if it's magical or not. No wonder there is translation called Pokémon. It's really strange. Monif, there is nothing to guess. Fiona appears, which means that the Prince of the Sea, Monif, must be here. Zumu directly acted as a prophet and spoke first. You are Zumu, right? In addition to being able to communicate with human elves spiritually, Manaphy also has a little bit of prophetic ability. This is more fantasy. Although this little guy does not have superpowers, he is awesome. Although he looks small, he knows a lot of things, and old players probably know it. Here I am talking about the era when I really played handheld games. Manaphy has two forms, Summer Manaphy and Ultimate Full Power Manaphy. This fully shows that this seemingly harmless little guy is actually quite something. At the very least, he is harmless and does not need to take action to look very obedient, if there is really danger. Okay, the story ends here, and we should start to get to the point. Boom. A big net fell from the sky. Before Zumu could react, the net instantly covered Lugia and Zumashiona. At the same time, above this palace, a huge submarine broke through the space barrier and came directly through space. A laser suddenly shot out from a machine under the submarine, hitting a water droplet above the palace. Bang! As the huge water droplet shattered, Manaphy fell to the ground in embarrassment. He was firmly grasped by a huge mechanical arm. No need to ask, the villain appeared. Fuck, I used a net directly. What the hell is this? Lugia, smash it for me. Zumu subconsciously hugged Sirona, and then cursed. No quality, no morality. What kind of thing is it? Actually cast a net to catch people when there is a disagreement, just like some irresponsible book friends. Use the Master Ball to trap the author when there is a disagreement. Are you kidding? Can you catch the author if you want to? Did Zumu say that you can trap it with a net? Fantastic. Lugia's reaction was not slow either. Sensing the danger, he directly used an air blast to blast the large mechanical net. It didn't break? Damn! Zumu and Lugia exclaimed almost at the same time. What's going on? The next moment, needless to say, the two people and a pet were directly caught in the net. Hunting completed. Elf. Manaphy. Hunting completed. Elf. Lugia. As the operator on the submarine reported, a strange man wearing black sunglasses and a white coat slowly smiled. Looking at the picture from the big screen, the man said proudly, use electric shock first to knock these two humans out. These two guys are big fish, no worse than Lugia. As he spoke, the guy began to laugh wildly. I didn't expect that I would really catch the Prince of the Sea on a random mission. Not only that, I also caught Lugia. By the way, I also got Zumu and Sirona. Happy, and laughing. Yes, prepare for electric shock. On the other end of the intercom, the man's subordinates hurriedly prepared to operate. At the critical moment, how could Zumu be slaughtered? Fuck, Greninja, come out and work. Smash this broken net for me. Seeing that the situation was not good, Greninja roared. Cool. Fuck. At such a critical moment, can you stop talking nonsense? Hurry up. Boom. Under Zumu's urging, Greninja split the big net in half. Facts have proved that Big Brother is always Big Brother, and Lugia is a little bit lacking. When Zumu escaped from the net with Sirona and Lorilas in his arms, he rolled on the ground. On the submarine, the weird man suddenly widened his eyes. Lorilas, you are still alive. Chapter 228, Lorila's Nightmare. Release the laser discs for me. We must catch this Lugia and the two humans. Of course, don't let that Lorilas go either. Since she's still alive, it proves that my experiment was successful. My experiment on Voltal was not wrong. Destructive energy can indeed be combined with superpowers. After Zumu escaped from the big net, The submarine quickly released dozens of laser discs. This high-end weapon similar to UFO is a special equipment that Zumu has never seen before. As long as they are hit by the laser released by this thing, the owls or humans will be petrified. Of course, there is a limit to the attack power and available range of this thing, otherwise, wouldn't it be invincible? Damn, there really is a villain. Zumu stared at the huge submarine angrily, although he didn't know where this thing came from or its background. But since this guy has set his sights on himself, that's all there is to say. Get ready to die. Charizard, Snorlax, King of Leaf, Dragonite, all of you come out and get to work. With Zumu's shout, all of his main Pokémon jumped out of the Pokeball. Among them, Dragonite's eyes were the most eager to fight. King of Leaf was the most angry. Snorlax was more worried that Zumu, the meal ticket, was bullied and almost caught. As for Charizard, this guy was cautiously observing the surrounding environment. What are you looking at? Let's fight. Seeing that everyone was still looking for opponents, Zumu pointed at the laser flying disc in the air and shouted. It was rare for Zumu to get angry. How dare the Pokémon neglect it? Without saying a word, they directly use their signature skills. Good guy, bullying Zumu. Are you twisted? Cool. Watch me beat these garbage to pieces. Greninja is most suitable for this kind of team battle. With a shadow clone technique and a spiral water shuriken, directly blasted dozens of laser flying discs into pieces. Following closely behind was Snorlax, the art of multiplication, the Claw of Collapse. The Claw of Collapse learned from the King of Leaf came in handy at this moment. With this big claw, a large number of laser flying discs that just flew out of the submarine were destroyed again. The distressed man in the gown grimaced. Let them go. I will catch them even if I lose everything. This Pokémon that can be Gigantamaxed, and that Greninja, are both priceless treasures. We must catch them. Roaring helplessly again, the man in the gown directly released his wealth. All the laser flying discs and the unusually strong net just now were thrown out as if they were free. Zumu was not afraid. If you dare to come, I dare to take it. Blocking Sirona behind him, Zumu said, Greninja and Snorlax, deal with those flying discs. Dragonite and Charizard, smash all those big nets for me. Leaf King, just rush over and tear this submarine in half for me. People say that at the end of the story, there are always very few villains. A good author should learn to protect villains. But there is no way. This idiot escaped from Owl and now he wants to die. He really deserves to die. Boom. It was just a little over a minute. When the Leaf King punched the submarine, it also meant that the battle was about to come to an end. Bang! A huge explosion sounded. The man in the gown rolled off the submarine in a mess. Except for him, all the others were buried in the submarine and died from the Leaf King's blow. Zumu smiled lightly. That's it? Still a villain? Lugia flew out and caught Manaphy, who was falling freely in the air. Are you okay, Mafi? Fortunately, the crystal is broken. I'm a little weak. After making sure that the little guy was fine, Lugia flew back to Zumu's side and looked at the man in the coat angrily. The man in the coat had lost his sunglasses at some point, probably because he accidentally dropped them when he was escaping. It should be said that this guy is very lucky. Who are you? Zumu walked in front of the man in the coat and asked. The owl has been destroyed, but I didn't expect such a thing to appear again. What's going on? There is an underground organization? Hee. What do you care who I am? Before the man in the coat finished speaking, Lariola's on Zumu's shoulder suddenly trembled. Lalu, don't hit me. Lariola's did nothing wrong. Don't hit me Tilda. Subconsciously sliding off Zumu's shoulder, Lariola's knelt on the ground in fear, tears falling down. To be honest, Zumu couldn't bear to see girls cry. Even if Lariola's was an elf, he couldn't bear to see it. Holding Lariola's in his arms again, Zumu asked softly, do you know him? Covering his head, painful memories appeared in his mind, and Lariola's brain felt waves of pain. Lalu, my head hurts. Zumu, I'm so scared. Lariola's did nothing wrong. Please don't hit me, okay? Zumu's eyes were slightly red, looking at the poor little guy leaning on his arms. He probably guessed the whole story. So, you are the bastard who used Lariola's for experiments. Staring at the man in the coat fiercely, Zumu gritted his teeth and asked. Seeing this, the man in the coat was not afraid at all, but laughed arrogantly. Ha ha ha, that's right, It's me. You should thank me for Layula's current situation. What do you know? As long as she is still alive, it proves that my experiment is successful. I'm a genius. Ha ha ha. Looking at the man in the coat laughing crazily, Layula couldn't stop crying. Raising his head timidly, Loris looked at Zumu's face and whispered, "Lalu, Zumu, you won't abandon Loris, right?" Zumu took a deep breath, suppressed the rage in his heart, and gently stroked Loris' red hair. "Don't worry, I'm always here, and I'll always be with you." After saying that, Zumu looked at the man in the gown again, and laughed in anger. "So, Loris' hair color is thanks to you. Lalu's injury is also thanks to you. When the Alliance cleared out the Outlaw organization, you didn't die, but escaped to another place and continued to live freely, right?" The man in the gown laughed wildly, even laughing to the point of retching. At this moment, he didn't feel fear, but only arrogance. "That's right, it's me. What can you do to me?" "Boy, I'm not afraid that you know that our hunter organization has already known what happened here. We are sending experts here. If you know what's interesting, kneel down and admit your mistakes." Chapter 229, Throw it out and cut it into pieces. Hearing this, Zumu could no longer hold back his anger. "Arrogant, so arrogant in front of me? You are really looking for death." Bang! Rushing forward, Zumu punched the man in the coat in the face. This punch was so powerful that it directly knocked the man's nose crooked and broke his nose. Falling to the ground, the man in the coat covered his nose in pain and looked at the blood on his hands. He was a little panicked. "Asshole, you little bastard, you dare to hit me. Do you know who I am? The hunter organization is very respectful to me. How dare you hit me?" Bang! Another punch. A super fierce punch. The man in the coat who just stood up was blown away by Zumu again. Zumu said nothing, staring at the man in the coat with cold and even frosty eyes. "Fuck!" Staggering to his feet from the ground, the man in the coat wanted to curse again. Bang! Another punch. Zumu dragged Layula's with his left hand, and punched the man in the coat with 3 consecutive punches with his right hand. After being blown away by Zumu again, the man in the coat learned his lesson this time. He didn't stand up. If he stood up, he would be beaten again, so he simply fell to the ground. "Little bastard, you are dead. Even if you kneel down and beg for mercy, I will not let you go." Bang! Kicked out. Zumu kicked the man in the coat directly out more than 10 meters, covering his stomach with his left hand and his lower abdomen with his right hand. The man in the coat felt as painful as being hit by a missile. "This Zumu's fist is too hard. This kick is too painful." "You." Cough cough cough. Coughing out a tooth from his mouth, the man in the coat choked. He was really scared this time. "Don't kill me. As long as you don't kill me, I can give you a lot of money, and my research results. You don't know, you are Layula's because of my research. I combine the destructive energy of Vlo with the superpowers of Layula's." Bang! Zumu said nothing, and kicked the bastard away again. Sirona stood in the distance, silently watching Zumu's back. She had never seen Zumu so angry. Last time outside the meteor falls, she and Zumu were besieged by so many strong men, and Zumu was just filled with hatred. He still restrained himself with reason and did not kill those strong men who wanted to snatch Lugia. But this time, Sirona clearly felt that Zumu was going to kill someone. "Lalu, Zumu, Loris is not afraid anymore. Please don't be angry, okay?" As if infected by Zumu's anger, Loris was not so afraid. Raising his head and looking at Zumu with tearful eyes, Loris stretched out his little hand and gently stroked Zumu's face. Zumu smiled and patted Loris on the head. "Don't worry, I'm fine. I'm just a bad guy who needs to be punished. Don't be afraid of Layula's anymore. With me here, all the bad guys won't hurt you anymore, okay?" Zumu's voice was still gentle, but under this gentleness, there was endless pity and love. "Lalu, okay, I'll listen to Zumu. Layula's must be strong. I will think of the past and won't have a headache anymore, and then I can regain my superpowers." Raising his little fist, Layula said he would work hard. Zumu shook his head and smiled. "You don't need to force yourself to do things you don't like. You can try to make some new friends. If you get a headache when you think about the past, then don't think about it anymore. If you lose your superpowers, Then don't give it up. I won't abandon you even if you don't have superpowers. Laolas nodded as if he understood. Lalu. Then, Zumu, don't be angry anymore. You're so scared when you're angry. Zumu took a deep breath and pressed Laolas's head into his arms. He didn't say anything, just looked at Greninja beside him. Greninja understood instantly. Cool, little master, don't worry. I understand. I will teach him what a frog is today, Greninja said in his heart. Zumu shook his head with a hint of displeasure in his eyes. He also said in his heart, no, Greninja, you still don't understand. Scratching his head, Greninja thought of Zumu's anger just now, and suddenly realized, little master, I understand this time. Drag him down and cut him into pieces. Zumu smiled with satisfaction. Arceus took the initiative to jump out of the Pokeball and followed Greninja. After all, he was the only one who could make a soundproof barrier. Seeing the frog dragging the bastard scientist away, Arceus followed, and Zumu felt relieved. Holding Laolas, he came to Lugia and Manaphy. Western Europe, Kyle's office. Bang bang bang, bang bang. There was a knock on the door. Kyle put away the fatigue that had just emerged and cheered up. Come in. The door slowly opened, and a couple walked into the office. The man was wearing a blue cape and holding the woman's hand. The woman was also very beautiful, with light makeup on her face, full of the charm of a good wife and mother. Why didn't you tell me you were here, Lao Zu? Who did I think you were? Come on, sit down. Why are you being so polite to me? Seeing the newcomers, Kyle excitedly sat up from his chair, and the tiredness on his face was swept away. He enthusiastically took out his best coffee, ready to entertain the couple and have a good chat. But, of course I can't say hello, otherwise what if you run away? The man's tone was a little teasing. The woman was a little cold. Kyle, I haven't seen you for many years. You seem to have grown up. A trace of cold sweat ran down Kyle's forehead. The whole person was stunned again and again. What's going on? What happened? Can anyone tell me what's going on? Haha, you don't understand, right? Come on, let's fight first, and you'll know, the man said, not taking out his Pokeball, but showing his fist as big as a sandbag. The woman took a step back to leave space for the two men. What's the matter, Lao Zu? What are you two doing? Kyle was confused. What on earth is going on? The woman released Gardevoir and used her superpowers to seal the doors and windows. After making sure that Kyle couldn't run away, she sneered, I heard that some time ago, you and my son had a 3-on-3 game? You pushed my son to the team, and what did you say? You don't allow my son to date your daughter. Is that true? After the woman finished speaking, Kyle was stunned. Sitting dejectedly on the chair, Kyle chose to give up resistance. Dong dong dong. There was a knock on the door at the right time, and Kyle's secretary said outside the door, Chief, there is a new secret realm in the east. According to the intelligence, the secret realm is the legendary Sea God Temple, and Manaphy appeared there. Also, Zumu and the Hunter organization are involved. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 230, The Rise of Lugia, The Legacy of the Sea God. After the slicing, Greninja and Arceus also came back. Greninja gave Zumu a look that showed that the matter was done, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Zumu nodded. Got it, Shabu. Zumu, look at this. In the distance, Absol, who had been missing the whole time, finally came back. This guy was holding a trident-like thing in his mouth, running back happily. Slow down, slow down. Why are you in such a hurry? Zumu was speechless. He asked this guy to slow down, but the thing couldn't get away. How impatient he was. Not mature at all. Absol seemed to have sensed his mistake and reorganized himself. Shabu. Zumu, look at this, Absol said again in a lower voice. Zumu waited for him to come closer, picked up the trident, and asked in confusion, what is this? Seeing this, Lugia on the side, his eyes lit up. I know this. As he said this, the guy picked up the trident without any instruction and placed it directly in the middle of the hall, at a gap. When the trident returned to its place, the entire Poseidon temple shook violently. Manaphy also hurriedly stood up and said in a shocked tone, "Sure enough, you are the legendary Lugia who can inherit the throne of the Poseidon." Sirona looked at him with astonishment. "Zumu's Lugia is so awesome. Isn't that the little guy that Zumu used as a mount? When did he become so powerful?" In the distance, Hupa and Fiona, who were playing King of Glory, also hurriedly abandoned their teammates in the game and rushed to the scene. "This scene has finally arrived, Lugia," Fiona said in a mysterious way, with a hint of holiness in her eyes. Zumu looked calm. "What's the big deal? Isn't it just a Poseidon inheritance? Need to be shocked?" asked Charizard. "Is he still a fire dragon god? Have you ever seen Charizard proud?" "No, Lugia. Since it is destined that you will inherit the position of sea god, then go." Zumu's voice was very calm. Thinking back to the beginning, when he first crossed over to this world, Zumu didn't want to be a trainer. He had been thinking about living a dull life, find a beloved girl and travel around the world. But now, he has found his beloved girl. But the statement that he didn't want to be a trainer was pure nonsense. The Pokémon under his command are getting stronger and stronger, and he is in contact with more and more mythical beasts. Zumu has a feeling that he has been fooled. It seems that there is a pair of black hands behind the scenes, controlling everything and constantly pushing him to the position of trainer. This black hand, at present, is not the system. Zumu guessed that it is very likely the will of this world, not the author. "Don't talk nonsense. Or it is the Phoenix King." Of course, guesses are guesses, and the things in front of him still need to be done. "Isn't it just an inheritance? Just accept it and it's over." Lugia nodded, looking at the blue light that suddenly appeared on the trident, and his body still lit up with the same sacred color. Then, the huge Poseidon temple collapsed like a toy building block. Lugia's entire body began to slowly float upwards. Sirona was shocked by what she saw. This blockbuster-like sense of déjà vu made her unable to stop. "I'm not kidding, please don't drive. I'm afraid of being reported by the Harmony." The mission of the Poseidon temple has finally been completed. Watching Lugia take off, Manaphy muttered softly, with a relieved expression on her face. On the side, Fiona was the same. They have guarded this place for thousands of years, and now, it is finally over. Zumu didn't think so much. He was thinking now, what's the situation with the King of Phoenix? He has also seen Lugia, and to be honest, his strength is just average. Even if he has the position of the god of the sea, at most he is at the level of a demigod, and at a higher level he is a god. It doesn't seem to be much different from the peak period of the invincible Tana and others. So in this case, how can the King of Phoenix be the mastermind behind the layout? And there is also the egg of Celebi behind him. It's a month old. There is still no sign of hatching. Didn't we agree at that time that the system would help me reduce the hatching time by half? This world is so weird. Zumu, help me, Lugia suddenly shouted in the air. Zumu looked over and saw that the dead Lugia and the Lugia of the meteor waterfall appeared in front of Zumu. Lugia for some reason. "Luofeng, you really have come this far." Lugia smiled and looked at Zumu's Lugia, who he called Luofeng. Luofeng, that is, Zumu's Lugia, looked at Lugia blankly. "Don't be confused. I'm too lazy to explain what happened." As the strongest of the Lugia clan, the appearance of Luo Yi and I is the biggest test on your road to becoming a god. Now you will temporarily, note, temporarily, have the ability of a demigod. This is the reward given to you by the trident of the sea god. Defeat us who are going all out, by any means. You are the new generation of the sea god. Although Rocky said he would not explain, he also explained it in detail. Zumu nodded as if he understood. "It turns out that my little Lugia is called Luofeng. What we have to do now is to defeat these two peak Lugia together." "Okay, then I'll try." Pursing his lips, Zumu was a little eager to try. Two demigods, Rocky, who was sealed for many years, was at the peak of the Supreme. Now his peak state is not a demigod. This is still a conservative estimate. If Rocky can have the bonus of the priesthood, I'm afraid he will become a true god. "Wujitai, I'm really a little embarrassed to bother you so soon." As he said that, Zumu took the necklace and tried to feel the presence of Wujitai. Not long after, a Wujitai crossed the world barrier and rushed to Zumu. "Zumu, long time no see, have you missed me?" As soon as this sentence came out, Sirona and Lorilas almost subconsciously grabbed Zumyu. Wujitai looked around the surrounding environment and found that there were so many people and elves at the scene. He was killed on the spot. After about 10 seconds of silence, Wujitai suddenly changed back to the majestic voice before. Zumyu, what is the purpose of summoning me here? Zumyu, it's okay, you can go. To be honest, this wave of Wujitai was really embarrassing. Zumyu looked at the two huge guys, Rocky and Luoyi, in the air, and said, can you directly transform into Wujitai and help Mile Wo Feng block one of them? Hearing this, Wujitai shook his tail pretentiously and nodded slowly. Don't worry, human, I can fulfill your wish. Chapter 231 Luigi awakens dark skin. Luo Feng, you fight Rocky. Eternal Tena, go Gigantamax directly, you deal with Luoyi. Zumyu stopped talking nonsense. This battle was about Luo Feng's divine position, and after winning, the system could directly arrange a Poseidon inheritance for Luo Feng. This was a good thing. The super mount that he had been paddling in the team all the time now finally had a chance to rise. How could Zumyu not go all out to help? Okay. Rocky didn't expect that Zumyu could actually summon this guy. Everlasting Tena. Zumyu's blood was already boiling. He might be born to be a trainer. Zumyu had participated in this kind of demigod-level battle once before, and it was hard to forget the feeling of excitement for a long time afterwards. Commanding a demigod, he was just an ordinary person. Luo Feng, Air Blast. Eternal Tena, the same rules. Cosmic Energy plus Dragon Dance. The already Gigantamaxed Everlasting Tena was really big. Fortunately, before Luo Feng ascended to heaven, the palace had collapsed by itself, otherwise it would definitely not be able to accommodate her. Luo Feng heard Zumyu's instructions. After a long time together, he had long been obedient to Zumyu. Without saying a word, he raised his hand and attacked. Rocky's reaction was not slow. He was the ruthless Lugia who dared to drag Luoyi and the entire secret realm to self-destruct. In terms of fighting, he absolutely didn't care about his life. He directly faced Luo Feng's attack and went straight to the Everlasting Tena, trying to interrupt the Everlasting Tena's enhancement. On the other side, Luoyi was not an idiot. He became a nemesis with Rocky. After all, he was the second genius of the year. He also started with a move of Tailwind to speed up Rocky, and then opened his mouth and fired a water cannon, bombarding Luo Feng, who wanted to support Everlasting Tena. The excitement of this battle was far greater than the previous one with Groudon on Orion. Zumyu could clearly feel that his pressure was increasing. Luo Feng, predict the future. Mysterious protection. Since the opponent is attacking, let's take a step back and focus on defense. Wujitai, continue to strengthen. Take all the opponent's attacks head on. After fighting with demigods, Zumyu now has experience. Big guys like Lugia and Wujitai have a lot of health. It's absolutely impossible to decide the winner with one or two moves, let alone anything else. Now let Rocky or Luoyi, whoever it is, use the absolute zero with outstanding effect on Wujitai. Even this may not be able to kill Wujitai instantly. When the strength of the elves is too strong, the mandatory nature of the moves can no longer restrict the elves. Seeing that Zumyu is Dogecoin of the strengthening flow, he also asked Luo Feng to use the mysterious guard. Go ahead, use the Wuji beam, aim at that Luoyi, and knock him down for me. The operation of the strengthening flow is so simple and unpretentious. After strengthening, just do it. Rocky was dumbfounded at the time. What's the matter? I pressed you for most of the day, and you turned around to find Luoyi? Don't I want face? Luo Feng, self-recover, then use protection. Zumyu didn't care whether Rocky wanted to save face or not. He wanted victory. While Wujitana was repelling Luoyi, Luo Feng hurriedly used self-recovery. At the same time, Zumyu's order of protection directly predicted Rocky's air blast. This wave was perfect. Wujitana, don't worry. Use self-recovery to recover first, and then the old rules. Fierce poison. Zumyu's voice made the distant Greninja excited. To be honest, if possible, Greninja would like to replace Luo Feng or Wujitana and participate in this battle now. It's a pity that he is just a cute little frog. Except for occasionally calling lonely on the Kixi festival, he can only change his name to Society. For the battle at the level of demigod, He really can't intervene now. Of course, what will happen in the future, that's uncertain. The benefit of watching the battle of the strong, in addition to setting a small goal for yourself, you can also have a lot of insights. Just like Greninja, this guy's progress is already very fast. But after watching this battle, he actually felt that the Master Realm was a little loose, and he stepped directly into the peak of the king. This is understanding. The battle is still going on. In fact, when Zumu shouted out the fierce poison, and Rocky failed to defeat Wujitai before he completed the strengthening, the winner had already been decided. And Luo Feng flew high into the sky, with a long cry. The light of the sea god relit on his body. After Rocky and Luo Yi disappeared, they turned into two rays of light and entered Luo Feng's body. When he absorbed these two rays of light, his strength also directly reached the early stage of the master. Moreover, in the future growth process, Luo Feng will not have any bottlenecks, and will rise to the top until he becomes a god. Ding! Congratulations to the host. Complete the Lugia sign-in task. Carry or use Lugia to complete a battle in the Sea God domain. Reward Lugia Sea God inheritance. The light of the system illuminated Lugia again. In the sky, Rocky waved his wings, slowly stretched his body, and felt the new power. At the same time, strange things suddenly appeared. I saw that Luo Feng had an evil energy on his body, slowly wrapping him up, but after just a few seconds, Luo Feng turned into the same as Lucky, becoming Dark Lugia. However, Luo Feng just used this form to feel it, and after flying a few circles in the sky, he changed back to his original form. Seeing this, Shirona kept shouting, saying it was too exciting. Chapter 232 Elf Hunter, A. Ding! Lugia's new sign-in mission has been announced. Please check it out. Lugia sign-in mission. Carry or use Lugia to win a victory in the World King Tournament. Blue Silver Grass Martial Spirit. Zumu felt like laughing. What's going on? Is this really the Sea God? Did the dog system go to Buo to purchase goods? Did it just move the third brother over? System, what does that Sea God inheritance mean? While Luo Feng was still in the air feeling his new power, Zumu quickly asked the system. Ding! The Sea God inheritance will be opened after Lugia obtains the Blue Silver Grass and the Clear Sky Hammer. Please stay tuned. Zumu was stunned and almost cursed directly. Forget it. I'm in a bad mood today. If I want to curse, I won't curse you. Dog system, give me a Sea God inheritance, and then tell me that I need to gather 2 martial spirits to use it. MMP, the dog system is definitely a delaying tactic. He definitely can't arrange Lugia well, and there are no good rewards, so he came up with some third brother to fool me. Bastard, I'm so angry. Why is my system so useless? Crossing over other people's systems, my system is useless. After flirting with the dog system, Zumu set his sights on Lugia in the sky. Luo Feng, come down. This guy is still flying. He is so bored. What's the matter? You are a master, so awesome. Can't a master be a mount? Isn't the Sea God also ridden by others? Really? That's useless. Okay. Seeing Zumu calling him, Luo Feng hurriedly flew down, habitually rushed into Zumu's arms, and was knocked to the ground by Zumu, commonly known as pushing down the trainer. Good guy, you seem to have grown a circle again. Patting Luo Feng's wings, Zumu exclaimed. Luo Feng is still good. He doesn't need to eat so much to grow up. Look at Arceus. He eats so much, and now he can't take me and Sirona to ride together. What an idiot. Hey, thank you, Zumu. Although Luo Feng has become the new Sea God, he still has a childish temper. How mature can he be after being born for more than a month? Zumu touched his head and smiled. Why are you being polite? You are so polite. As he said that, Zumu stood up and prepared to take the elves out of the secret realm. Manify, Fiona, we will. Zumu didn't finish the word leave. The space barrier was broken again. Wujitana lay on the ground, looking at the space barrier that was broken again and again, shaking his head helplessly. This time, it was not a submarine that appeared, but a person. A middle-aged man with brown hair. No wonder that Waste sent out a distress signal. There are so many rare elves gathered here. He is so useless, it's strange that he can recover. The middle-aged man muttered as he landed on the violent salamander and looked at Zumu and his group and the elves on the ground. His mouth was watering with greed. Hoopa, Manaphy, Fiona, Lugia, Wujitai, and an alpaca whose name I don't know. Damn it, isn't this a great harvest? Zumu looked at the man falling from the sky and couldn't help shaking his head and smiling bitterly. I knew it was so hard to come to the secret realm. If I leave so easily, how could it be my style? It's just a palace that was destroyed. I guess the sea god's secret realm can't stay today. Western Europe. Kyle, who was already bruised and swollen at this time, looked at Zufeng and Jiu, and the whole person didn't want to say a word. Back then at the border, Zufeng bullied him all day long. He also forced his girl to be his son's wife in the future. Now that he has come back to inherit the family property and become the chief of Western Europe, this guy actually ran back from the border to bully him. Damn it, don't let me live. What did Kyle, do I do wrong? If I did something wrong, you can let God punish me. Don't let Zufeng, this reckless man, come here. Clenching his fist, Zufeng snorted coldly. That's it? Next time you dared to bully my son, think about how many punches you can take from me. Kyle was crying without tears. Your son wants to harm my daughter. Why can't I do anything about it? Kyle was lying on his luxurious and valuable carpet worth tens of millions, and he refuted with tears and snot. Now you looked at Kyle on the ground expressionlessly. Turning around, he used his superpowers to seal the doors and windows again. Husband, continue. Zufeng nodded. He listened to his wife the most. I think so too. He actually dared to talk back. Bang 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 bang. The sound of education kept ringing in Chief Kyle's office. Outside the door, Kyle's secretary was so anxious that he almost cried. Boss, open the door. It's okay not to open the door and don't soundproof it. This superpower seals the room, and you can't hear me talking. Over at the mysterious sea god realm, the A of the Hunter organization is here. Our eldest lady and that kid Zumu are all in the secret realm. Aren't you anxious? About 10 minutes later, Kyle's face was completely unbearable to look at. Zufeng has an advantage in fighting, that is, he only hits the face. What lower abdomen, neck, nothing, just the face. Alright, brother, sister-in-law, you've had enough. Isn't it okay for me to stop bullying your son in the future? I don't care about the matter between my daughter and your son. Kyle was really convinced this time. Damn, if he continued to fight like this, he would really be disfigured. Why didn't you say so earlier? Why would I have to spend so much effort? Zufeng said, rubbing his wrist, and said to Jiu, see, I told you that my son is definitely not as good as me. To marry a daughter-in-law, I have to beat the father-in-law to submission. Jiu pouted and hit Zufeng hard on the waist. Bullshit, my son is the best. He's only 16, if you give my son 4 years, he will definitely beat you old guys. Jiu said, and suddenly remembered that she and Gardevoir seemed to have been using superpowers to seal the entire room. Kyle is the chief after all. He has so many government affairs to deal with every day. It would be bad if he was delayed. The moment the superpower was withdrawn, the secretary rushed into the room. Looking at Kyle who was lying on the ground, his first thought was, enemy attack, protect the emperor. Kyle grabbed the secretary who wanted to shout, endured the pain on his face, and made a hushing gesture. If you have something to say, please tell me. The secretary took a breath of fear, looked at Zufeng and his wife, and then looked at Kyle. Swallowed. Zumu and the eldest lady are in the secret realm of the sea god. Something must have happened. The of the Hunter organization should have arrived in the secret realm by now. I wanted to report to you just now, but I didn't. Chapter 233, War begins again. Looking at Hunter in the air, Zumu felt a toothache. I was speechless. What the hell? Another villain who looks so powerful suddenly appeared. I really don't want to destroy the secret realm. Do you believe it? Shirona, step back. Not knowing the strength and background of the newcomer, Zumu chose to treat him with caution, despising the opponent tactically and paying attention to the opponent in battle. This is the quality that a qualified trainer should have. Shirona is quite obedient. Seeing that Wu Jitai seemed fierce, she stood beside Greninja immediately. This frog is still very reliable at the critical moment. Zumu, I can't fight anymore. Wu Jitai just went through a wave of Wuji giantization and confronted Luo Yi head-on, and he was exhausted. The same is true for Luo Feng now. He almost didn't have the strength to stand up, and barely kept himself flying in the air. with a hint of helplessness in his eyes. Zoomu smiled. It's okay, you guys take a break first. Let Snorlax do this battle. Snorlax, who recently obtained the Dynamax core, has doubled his combat power. It is perfect to use him as a vanguard to test the opponent. As time goes by, Snorlax has also reached the level of the Dynamax from the previous pseudo-superb peak, and he has made rapid progress and become a strong Pokémon in the late Dynamax. After Dynamaxing, this guy is even the top combat power in the late Master. Even Greninja is not good at fighting this guy head-on. Snorlax, is it my turn to perform? Snorlax jumped out of the Pokeball and made a silly expression and laughed, which was considered to be livening up the atmosphere. Zoomu scratched his head, a little embarrassed. At this time, there is no point in livening up the atmosphere. Shabu. Zoomu, can I help you? Absol took the initiative to step forward and asked Zoomu. He also has the strength of the peak of the superb, which is not bad, and can barely be considered a combat power. Help me keep an eye on Serona, Lugia, and Eterna, and don't let them be disturbed by the aftermath of the battle. I can handle this guy by myself. Zoomu thought about it, but still didn't agree to let Absol join the battle rashly. After all, they had never worked together before, and their tacit understanding was not enough. The opponent was also a seemingly strong trainer. If Absol joined the battle rashly, there might be some accidents. Shabu. Okay, Zoomu. Absol agreed and jumped away directly to make room for Zoomu to fight. In the air, Hunter A, who was standing on the violent salamander, saw Zoomu preparing to fight him head-on, and laughed. Boy, was there a demigod-level battle here just now. Look at it. I came here by chance, just when you finished the battle. I came here, ha ha ha. Let me introduce myself. My name is A. I am the chief hunter of the Hunter organization. My strength, in your words, I am probably an invincible trainer. Probably. That is, invincible. Right. Zoomu felt that his head was about to explode. This day after day, it's endless. Where are the noobs in the novice village? Why can't I see any of them now? The ones who come here are the kind of guys who want to become the supreme leader at the slightest disagreement. Who can stand this? Stop talking nonsense. Get out of here quickly, or you will leave your life here. Hearing this A's hesitant words, Zoomu gritted his teeth and roared. If you are a man, come and fight. Seeing that Zoomu, a young man, was so arrogant, Hunter laughed. Okay, young man, I'll play with you. With a playful smile, Hunter released his Pokémon. Go, Rhydon. Zoomu was obviously stunned. Rhydon, are you the Kaido Rhydon? What's the matter? You're fighting me with a roadside Pokémon just because you don't agree with me. Are you free? Snorlax, puff your belly, sleep. No matter what Pokémon the opponent is, Zoomu still uses the old routine. Puff your belly to strengthen, sleep to recover, then Gigantamax and roll. By the way, add a new skill, the Meat Bomb Tank. However, Hunter seemed to have expected that Zoomu's Snorlax could freely control his sleep talk, and directly ordered, Rhydon, Close Range Punch, a fighting-type ultimate move. It didn't give Zoomu and Snorlax a chance to breathe. Snorlax, protect. There was no way. There was no time to use the Gigantamax and multiplication techniques. Zoomu didn't want to start trolling so easily, so he could only passively defend. Rhydon, Earthquake. Hunter shouted, and Rhydon used Earthquake directly, stamping his feet on the ground. Boom. In an instant, the ground shook. The seawater in the entire mysterious sea realm seemed to evaporate and began to shake violently. Zoomu was shocked. This guy, at least, has the strength of a late master. He can be the master by just picking up a Pokémon. This is really an invincible trainer. Snorlax, hold on. Multiplication technique, Gigantamax. I won't talk nonsense with you. This guy is too strong. If Snorlax fights directly like this, I'm afraid he will be killed instantly. Instead of this, it's better to go straight to Gigantamax and let Snorlax's strength rise to the late master. Maybe he can still fight. Oh, Gigantamax, something. Hunter saw Zoomu's super evolution, and was not surprised at all, just smiled lightly. Zoomu was stunned. What is this guy's background? It's okay to be able to pretend, but he actually knows about Gigantamax and Gigantamax? Rhydon, do it again. Earthquake. Snorlax completed Gigantamax and used the multiplication technique plus the circle formation. As a result, Rhyhorn's attacks continued, and Snorlax had no time to dodge, so he could only take the blow. Snorlax, it hurts so much. Fuck you, kid. Are you tired of living? Snorlax, who was hit, turned on his usual nonsense mode and started bragging when he disagreed. His words made Rhyhorn, who was about to continue attacking, stunned on the spot. Rumble, you are the kid. I can be your grandfather. You call me a kid. With a roar, Rhyhorn responded strongly. Zumu took the opportunity to give an order. Snorlax, don't talk nonsense with him. Just troll and use the meat bomb tank. No doubt, I'll kill you while you're sick. Seeing that Rhyhorn's attention was distracted, Snorlax attacked directly. Stick your limbs to your stomach and retract your head downward. Snorlax starts directly. Interesting. Hunter was not in a hurry. Seeing Snorlax's ultimate move, he still had a relaxed smile on his face. It was no big deal, just a small scene. Rhyhorn, use rock climb to avoid rolling. Then earthquake, keep on earthquake. Rhyhorn received the order and used rock climb. He pressed a protruding rock on the ground and directly turned it into a small hill. Then he ran to the top of the hill to avoid Snorlax's attack. Then he jumped down from the hill. Earthquake. Chapter 234. The fire-breathing dragon shows its power. The continuous earthquakes made it impossible for Snorlax to perform a second rolling attack, and he fainted directly. The big tree on the tree slowly disappeared, and Snorlax exited the supergiant state, lying on the ground and losing his ability to fight. Zumu took Snorlax back and whispered, "It's not a big problem. Thank you for your hard work." Snorlax, if I hadn't eaten enough, I would have definitely hit him to death. The defeated Snorlax was still unconvinced and was still bragging in the Pokeball. Zumu smiled helplessly. This guy. Charizard, this Rhyhorn is a bit difficult to deal with, don't you think? Letting Greninja appear is Zumu's best choice at present in terms of attribute restraint. But, there are buts for everything. As Zumu's trump card, Greninja naturally needs to conserve its energy and wait for a fight with Hunter's violent salamander. After Snorlax became Gigantamax, Zumu was no longer able to help Dragonite and leave King to become Gigantamax. As a result, the second most powerful combat force at Zumu's hand is only Charizard. Only Charizard is the most suitable to go into battle. Roar. Yes, although Charizard is cautious and brave, he has a straight talk. This guy has never been scared when Zumu is in danger. This is also a point that Zumu is quite relieved about. In normal battles, Charizard can be hesitant and procrastinate, but at this moment, Charizard's choice is unusually decisive. There is no doubt that if Zumu needs him, he will fight. Roar. Zumu, remember to arrange medicine for me when you turn around, as if he is a warrior about to step onto the battlefield. Charizard turned around and roared with a posture of Feng Ziok Xiao Zai Shui Han. Zumu slapped his forehead. Okay, I got it. Charizard got Zumu's promise and was relieved. Charizard, Mega Evolution. With the previous lesson, Zumu did not hesitate at all and let Charizard Mega Evolve from the beginning. Hunter looked at Charizard turning into Charizard X, still chuckling, without any shock. This guy can definitely have Mega Evolution. After coming to this world, Zumu found that Mega Evolution is indeed a bit common. Although there is no Mega Evolution in the Novice Village, it seems that almost everyone who is stronger than the king has a Mega Evolution. This is very embarrassing. This is something that other protagonists use to show off to the natives. But when it comes to Zumu, a time traveler, everyone can Mega Evolve. In fact, this world is more inclined to the later anime style. Mega Evolution and Dynamax, which caused the collapse of combat power, are common here. It is precisely because of this collapse setting that ordinary elves in this world can also reach very high heights. Everything has a cause and effect. If there were not so many super collapse settings, perhaps this world would not exist. Rhyhorn, Rock Seal. Charizard, Tailwind, Ascend. Charizard, which has the flying attribute, is not so afraid of rock-type skills, but it is better not to be hit if you can. After all, the opponent's strength is here, and Zumu is not sure. Charizard was still very fast. Maybe it was due to his personality. He suddenly opened his wings with blue flames, blowing up a Force 10 gale, and then leaped up and flew into the sky. He avoided all attacks from Rhydon. Interesting, Rhydon, primal power. Hunter saw this and sneered like a pretentious person, and ordered Rhydon to use primal power to attack Charizard. Zumu hurriedly said, Charizard, protect. Then use Dragon Dance continuously and avoid his subsequent skills. Charizard obeyed the orders. He was a sensible dragon. When fighting, he would absolutely obey the orders of the trainer. It was mainly because he was afraid of death. Roar, hit me if you don't agree. When the opponent is stronger than you, it is a good tactic to taunt and disrupt the opponent's mentality. After blocking the primal power, Charizard started dancing on the spot, while speaking wildly and rudely. Can Rhydon endure it? The fat guy who called me a kid just now has been sent back to the Pokeball. You still dare to yell in front of me now? Are you tired of living? Boom. Don't let me catch you, bastard. Rhydon snorted coldly and used Primal Force again according to Hunter's instructions. At the same time, maybe it was because of good luck, all of Rhydon's abilities were upgraded by 1 level. This is the passive of Primal Force. Zumu looked at Rhydon, whose body was constantly glowing, and immediately pursed his lips to express his helplessness. It's really unreasonable. He is so strong, but he can still be so lucky. He can't afford it. Charizard, avoid it. Fortunately, Primal Force is not a high-speed star and has no locking function. After being strengthened by Dragon Dance, Charizard directly avoided the attack and continued to dance. Roar! Tilde. Can't hit it. Can't hit it. Charizard danced and taunted at the same time. This appearance that deserves a beating really made Zumu want to kick him. Rhydon, don't panic. Rock Seal, slow him down, block his movement. Then, Destruction Ray. Look, Hunter still has a brain. Seeing that Rhydon was about to be taunted, he immediately reminded him. However, if reminders were useful, what would the trainer do? As an old veteran, Rhydon was taunted by a young man like Charizard. If he could sit still, he would definitely be unworthy of the 2 stone balls under his crotch. Boom. You're dead, kid. With a roar, Rhydon used Rock Seal and Primal Force in succession. Taking advantage of the gap when Charizard made a mistake in its movement, he directly blasted it with a Destruction Ray. Roar. Are you stupid, Stonehead? Can't you see that I deliberately exposed the flaw? What a waste. Charizard had completed the Dragon Dance enhancement 6 times at this time. After avoiding Rhydon's Destruction Ray, it directly started to spray. Now, Charizard, stop talking nonsense. Dragonite. Zumu saw the slight delay after Rhydon used the Destruction Beam and ordered an attack directly. Charizard lived up to expectations, and there was no conflict between spraying people and fighting. He hit Dragonite with a backhand and blasted it straight into Rhydon's face. Go on, Dragonite. Don't give him a chance. Dragonite is Charizard's patent for finishing off. Even Dragonite doesn't deserve it. Boom. When Dragonite exploded on the ground, the surrounding seawater surged violently, and Rhydon completely lost its combat capability. But Charizard was also frightened. Roar! Fuck you. Zumu, why are we in the water? Take me back quickly. It's dangerous outside. Chapter 235 Hunter must die. Hunter was really confused. He didn't expect that he didn't make any mistakes, but because of Rhydon's emotional problems, his opponent caught a flaw. Moreover, he didn't expect that he would actually lose to a young man. This is unreasonable. Go, Thornbane. Hunter still kept smiling after releasing his second Pokémon, although he was careless just now and it was a bit embarrassing. But now is not the time to turn against each other. Who doesn't want to save face? Facing a junior trainer like Zumu, if you rush in, it would be a bit too much, right? Although we are bad guys, although we are villains, but please remember that villains also have dignity, okay? Charizard, stop it. This battle is very important. Here is the mysterious realm of the sea god. There is no difference between fighting here and outside. These waters have no effect on you. Zumu was speechless. Seeing that Charizard found himself at the bottom of the sea, he was scared to death, so he could only comfort him with kind words. Roar? Zumu, are you sure? This is sea water. I am most afraid of water. Are you afraid of water? Do you dare to say it again? If you are afraid of water, can you come up with this water storage feature? Don't say that it's okay here. Even if it's really the bottom of the sea, you should be like a fish in water, right? Okay, Stop talking nonsense to me. Have you seen that Thorn Dragon King? Deal with it. Zumu's words made Charizard shut up on the spot. Who is Zumu? He is a Zoan person. Bah, Zoo family. How can the Zoo family easily fall behind when facing outsiders? Although Charizard is not an outsider, when it comes to spitting people, there are no family members, only opponents. Roar, hurry up, come here, the skinny guy on the opposite side, watch me kill you in one move. Charizard didn't dare to continue to talk to many people. He turned his head and looked at the Thorn Dragon King. He decided to go all the way to his death. Puff. The Thorn Dragon King responded directly with a water gun. This sticky phlegm sprayed Charizard's face. After wiping the saliva on his face, Charizard looked at the Thorn Dragon King angrily. Roar, asshole, you have no manners. Where is public morality? Spitting and peeing everywhere. No one cares about you. Puff. Another mouthful of sticky phlegm. The Thorn Dragon King looked at Charizard expressionlessly, as if saying, if you keep competing, I will spit on you. Roar. Zumu, there should be a sign here that says, people with facial paralysis and dogs are not allowed to enter, and urinating and defecating anywhere on the seabed is prohibited. This guy is too dirty. I don't even want to be with him. Puff. Another mouthful. The Koga Ninja on the side couldn't help but laughed out loud. Puff. Charizard looked at the frog who was laughing on the side with a dark face, and suddenly got angry. Good guy, it's okay to be embarrassed, but in front of the frog. The opponent used the method that the frog used to disgust others in the past to disgust himself. Charizard couldn't stand it anymore. Charizard, Dragon Wave. Zumu just deliberately didn't speak. Charizard was too cautious. After knowing that there was seawater around, it would definitely have a certain impact on his mentality. In addition, the opponent happened to be a water-type Pokémon. If Charizard had a problem with his mentality, it was very likely that he would be defeated by a Thorn Dragon despite having the water storage attribute. So, Charizard still had to be given some proper motivation. Wasn't it just a few mouthfuls of sticky phlegm? It's not a big problem. Just let Greninja spit some water on him to wash it off. Now the most urgent task was to defeat Hunter and protect Pokémon like Lugia and Manaphy. Charizard was angry. Anger would make his fighting spirit boil, and he would forget about the surrounding environment. The sound of Greninja just now was the finishing touch. It made Charizard successfully ignite his fighting spirit. With a roar, Charizard didn't waste any more words, and directly used the Dragon Wave to hit Thorn Dragon's face. Thunder Dragon, move at high speed. Hunter seemed to be sure of victory. When he spoke, he had an expression that looked like he deserved a beating on his face, and at the same time, he stared at Zumu's Pokémon dishonestly. By the way, he glanced at Sirona a few times. It was because of his glances that Zumu instantly ignited his fighting spirit. He and Charizard fell into a frenzy mode. Catch up, Dragon Claw. Roar, look at me chopping you to death. One person and one pet roared at the same time, and the momentum exploded instantly. The Thorn Dragon King had no time to react. Even if he used high-speed movement, he still couldn't avoid the Charizard that used Tailwind and Dragon Dance to superimpose speed. A claw almost hit the Thorn Dragon King's face. Snap! A crisp sound rang out. Hunter seemed to be hit himself, and suddenly shouted, "Ah, Thorn Dragon King, come on, now, use Super Compressed Water Cannon." This move is the Thorn Dragon King's big move hidden for many years. It is also the most common trick in countless fan works. That is to let the jet-type Pokémon such as Blastoise or Thorn Dragon King compress the water cannon in the mouth or barrel when using the water cannon, then release it suddenly. It can achieve the effect of doubling the power. It's just. Hunter and Thorn Dragon looked at Charizard with great expectations, and found that this guy seemed to be taking a shower, closing his eyes and accepting the baptism of water cannon. Their first reaction was to report to the customer service. This Charizard is cheating. He has an inside story. Zumu sneered, "You dare to peek at my Sharona? You are tired of living." Charizard, Dragon Claw comes again, and then Dragon Star Group harvests. No nonsense. Just kill it. Charizard was also full of anger at this time. After enjoying the water cannon shower of Thorn Dragon King, he slapped him directly with his backhand. Dragon Claw was on Thorn Dragon King's face again. To be honest, at this moment, Thorn Dragon King's heart was a little broken. However, For the sake of his facial paralysis, Thorn Dragon King still endured the pain. He accepted the finishing blow of Charizard Dragon Star Group without saying a word. He died in depression. After 2 consecutive battles, Charizard's physical strength reached its limit. After Thorn Dragon King fell, he had to exit the Mega Evolution state and stood there gasping. Greninja, it's your turn next. The opponent still has 4 Pokémon. If nothing unexpected happens, fuck you, you little bastard. You're so difficult to deal with. Forget it. I won't waste my words. It's really boring to drag it on with you. Hunter A, who lost 2 games in a row, couldn't bear it anymore. He finally decided to turn against his opponent and directly summoned his remaining 3 Pokémon, including the violent Salamander. 4 Pokémon came on the field at the same time. Looking at Zumu and Greninja who were in danger, Hunter A said angrily, "Boy, hand over your Pokémon and those mythical beasts now, and I might leave you with an intact corpse. By the way, when I play with your girlfriend, I can also let you watch from the side. Ha 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 ha." Chapter 236. Zumu laughed in anger. Hunter thought he had secured the victory, so he did not fight Zumu, a junior, one-on-one, and directly led 4 Pokémons to attack. With 4 master-level Pokémons here, it would be no problem for a dog to be a trainer. Besides, he is still a little better than a dog. This time, he has a sure win. Seeing Zumu's frown, Hunter felt very happy. While speaking arrogantly, he also looked at Zumu sarcastically. "Why are you silent? Ha ha ha, I got it right. This is really your girlfriend? That's a pity. I wonder if you have tasted this girl. This girl is so juicy. Wow, she's really good." Hunter became more and more arrogant, and looked at Chirona's beautiful figure unscrupulously, and the graceful figure made this idiot drool. "Greninja, can you bear it?" "Cool, little master, I can't." Zumu nodded, slowly closed his eyes, and the veins on his forehead were exposed. He was angry. Chirona looked at Hunter with disgust. From childhood to adulthood, no one dared to talk to her like this. As the apple of Kyle's eye, when had Chirona been treated so lightly? The unscrupulous look of this bastard made Chirona want to dig out his eyes. Although she was kind, kindness was not the capital for others to indulge her. Lucario jumped out of the Pokeball directly, followed by the land shark. "Luca, asshole, apologize to Chirona quickly, or I will kill your whole family." Lucario, who had always behaved well, was furious at this time. With a fist, he rushed towards Hunter without saying a word. The land shark yelled from behind, "Shahu!" "Zumu, what are you doing? Your girlfriend is being fantasized about. This bastard threatened you so much, but you didn't react. Where is the energy you usually use to bully me?" The violent salamander just sprayed a flame casually and knocked the overconfident Lucario away. Hunter saw this and laughed even more indulgently. "That's it? If they are all these weaklings, you'd better give up resistance and wait for me to favor your girlfriend." Hunter A's arrogance continued. At this time, Greninja had completed the bond transformation. Zumu slowly opened his eyes, ignoring the 2 guys, Land Shark and Lucario, and said in a cold voice, "You want to pay the price." Greninja stood up slowly from the spot with a huge shrike on its back. The whole elf was filled with a rage ready to go. This rage even had the posture of boiling the seawater in the entire mysterious sea god realm. "Cool, little master, I'm ready. Dare to insult Sirona, you're dead." "It's even worse than the bastard who was just cut into pieces." Larilas had left Zumu's shoulder at this time and stood with Sirona. Although the little guy didn't understand what was going on, he couldn't help feeling a little uneasy when he saw Zumu getting angry. Zumu's angry look is so scary. With a cruel smile on his lips, Zumu admitted that this guy called Hunter is indeed quite powerful. "It's okay to show off your strength, but if you open your mouth and close your mouth to attack Sirona, haha, this is not okay. You still need to be educated. Maybe your parents didn't educate you well at home, but now that you are out in society, I will not educate you as simply as that." Shadow Clone, Super Large Jade Spiral Water Shrike. The main body keeps using self-motivation and hides behind the clone. "Stop all these 4 guys, blast them." When Zumu opened his mouth to command the battle, every word he said was spoken with gritted teeth. The same is true for Greninja. He didn't say a word and went straight to work. "Damn it, look at me. I will blast you to death. Bang, 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 bang. With this attack of Greninja, all opponents who meet for the first time will suffer, including the invincible trainer. Hunter was careless and was surrounded by countless Greninjas. He and his 4 elves were instantly covered by countless super large water shuriken. Fortunately, the tyrant reacted quickly and returned to his side to open the protection, which saved his life. When Hunter reacted, Greninja had completed the self-motivation and was preparing for the second wave of attacks. Greninja, Mega Evolution, Dragon Wave, blast him. Hunter was almost attacked by the frogs, and he was also very angry. He felt that he was lucky, thanks to the tyrant's quick reaction, and shouted orders. While the tyrant evolved, the second wave of attacks from Greninja arrived. Water Escape, Surf plus Waterfall Technique. This move is a new skill that Greninja has learned. While using the waterfall technique, use surfing, plus climbing waterfall. After reasonable control, it can reach 3 times the power of surfing, or even stronger. This move directly stunned Hunter's 3 Pokémons except the Violent Salamander. When the attack of Greninja was close to their faces, they barely reacted. As a result, they were naturally splashed with water. In the mysterious realm of the sea god, water attacks will be more powerful, which is considered a field advantage. Hit by Greninja's 2 big moves in succession, the state of these 3 Pokémons is obviously not very good. The crocodile looked at the thunder Pokémon and the wolfhound on the side. The 3 Pokémons all looked listless and were drenched in water. They were obviously a little depressed. Hunter didn't have time to command, resulting in the 3 Pokémons with the strength of the head being suppressed by Greninja, which made them feel very embarrassed and unhappy. Kaki, with a roar, the crocodile didn't care so much, and directly used an earthquake. His move didn't matter. The wolfhound was fine, but it was affected. But the thunder Pokémon closest to the crocodile was directly seriously injured. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Greninja said nothing and instantly started to move at high speed. Like an assassin, he rushed behind the Thunder Elf and stomped his feet fiercely. Power of the Earth, boom. After sustaining continuous damage, the Thunder Elf's already fragile health bar hit the bottom and lost its ability to fight. But Greninja was merciless and fired a water shuriken in response, piercing the Thunder Elf's neck directly. The Thunder Elf was killed on the spot. Turning around, he rushed to the front of the crocodile with another waterfall climbing. Greninja held a super large jade spiral water shuriken in each hand. Like hitting a coconut, he smashed 2 huge shurikens on the crocodile's head at the same time. Boom. The scene was extremely bloody, and the brain, I dare not write it, for fear of being censored, was raging. Then, looking at the trembling wolfhound, Greninja still said nothing and walked in front of him in silence. A wave of water blew the wolfhound away, completed a triple kill. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 237, Greninja Lost. As expected of an elf returning from the border, Greninja has definitely seen blood. The triple kill was merciless, without a trace of mercy. Hunter was shocked by what he saw. Where did this ruthless person come from? However, although he was panicking inside, on the surface, he still had to pretend to be indifferent. Violent Salamander, this guy doesn't have much physical strength left. Let's work harder and kill him instantly. Hunter really didn't expect that he and the Violent Salamander would complete a Mega Evolution and perform a dragon dance at the same time. Greninja actually got a triple kill directly. Looking at the panting frog, Hunter kept comforting himself in his heart. It's okay, don't panic. I still have the Violent Salamander at the peak of the leader. My Violent Salamander is already a half-step Supreme Elf, and will definitely sweep this kid. Greninja, take a break, come back. Seeing that Hunter seemed as steady as an old dog on the surface, but was actually panicking, Zumu finally spoke. Cool, I'm back. Little master, are you sure? Greninja was stunned. Although he was almost overdrawn now, it seemed that Zumu had no Pokémon other than himself that could deal with this Violent Salamander, right? What's going on? Zumu nodded. After the brief fight just now, Greninja burst out with all his strength to complete a triple kill. He has calmed down a lot. At the moment, letting Greninja continue to fight is the most unwise decision. Reality is not a game, not anime. Greninja has really reached its limit. If it continues to fight, there will be no miracles, but scars. Don't worry. You take a rest first, I'll take care of the rest. Zumu's voice gradually stabilized. Seeing that Zumu was indeed serious, Greninja honestly exited the state of bond evolution and returned to Zumu. Boy, you know you can't beat me, so you're going to give me that chick and these mythical beasts, right? It's no use. Even if you kneel down now, I won't accept your surrender. Kill my 3 elves. You have to pay with your life. Hunter didn't know what Zumu was planning, but when he saw that Greninja actually gave up the bond evolution on his own initiative, he thought Zumu was surrendering and not going to fight. How young? Do you think the outside world is as simple as you think? Fight when you want to. Stop when you want to. What's the matter? If you surrender now, do I have to treat the captives well? Sneer in his heart, Hunter wanted to kill Zumu 100 times to get rid of his hatred. 3 main forces died in the battle, and his loss this time was too great. If he didn't get these mythical beasts in the end, Hunter would probably become Hunter Z when he went back. Cool? What? Surrender? Haha, you are rude, disrespectful to the young master, and have improper thoughts about Shyarona. You deserve to die. Killing those 3 idiots who followed the wrong person was just foreplay. You can't run away either. Greninja's voice was cold. He sneered with disdain, and started to fight back. Zumu didn't say anything, just patted Greninja's shoulder. His meaning was very simple. You don't have to pay attention to this idiot. What you need to do now is to save your energy. You will be needed to play when the prisoners are tortured later. Other Pokémon have never seen blood and can't do such violent work. Greninja turned around and gave Zumu a look that said, I understand. Don't worry, little master, I will change my name to society at any time. After a brief exchange with Greninja, Zumu walked forward, looked at Mega Salamander and Hunter A, and said, Infinite, drink this and get up to work. Throwing a recovery potion to Infinite, Zumu's expression gradually became ferocious. You have been arrogant for so long, it's about time to do something cruel. Invincible trainer, right? Hehehe. Are you as awesome as a demigod? Wugitana didn't doubt him, and swallowed the potion that Zumu threw over, and her body recovered instantly. Wugitana saw the arrogant look of Hunter just now. If she hadn't really run out of strength, she would have wanted to go up and teach this bastard a lesson in person. Zumu, look at me eating it. The angry little Lily took off directly, and crashed into the violent Salamander and Hunter with a final impact. Don't. This person has dirty thoughts. It's easy to get a stomachache if you eat him. Just defeat the violent Salamander. Zumu hurriedly stopped her. Don't eat it. If you let this Hunter swallow it, will the Koga Ninja go to your stomach to torture the captives? Wugitana heard this and felt that Zumu was right. Then don't eat it. Just smash this little flying insect into slag. Boom. Although she didn't have the infinite gigantic transformation, the supreme peak Wugitana was not something that the violent salamander could contend with. Almost without any effort, the violent salamander was directly smashed into a meat pie and dissipated in the mysterious sea god's realm. To use a phrase commonly used in fantasy novels to describe it, the violent salamander was hit by Wujitai, the supreme strong man who opened up the Ren and Du meridians. It directly turned into a ball of blood mist and dissipated between heaven and earth. Seeing his trump card being killed instantly, Hunter was dumbfounded again. This Zumu, there is still this trump card that has not been used? What is the instant recovery potion just now? There is such high technology in this world? Doesn't it mean that I have been a clown from the beginning? All the advantages and disadvantages are just, I thought, not Zumu thought. Haha, you really shouldn't be so arrogant. I didn't intend to kill you, because this is a harmonious society after all, and you have the right to life. But I didn't expect that you couldn't exercise your rights correctly, but instead treated life as a joke. You shouldn't have thought of Shyarona. She is my treasure, my white moonlight, my cinnabar mole, and my heart's blood. I don't know where you got the courage to talk nonsense in front of me. What's the matter? The sky is clear and the rain has stopped, and you think you can do it again? I don't want to pay attention to you, but you have to kill yourself. Koga Ninja, go, drag it away. After Zumu said this, he turned around without looking back and hugged Shyarona, regardless of the Hunter Ray who was dragged away by Koga Ninja and was still begging for mercy. Zumu pressed Shyarona's head on his shoulder. He whispered, "Don't look, that's what he deserves. You are my most precious treasure, and I will never allow anyone to taint you." Shyarona silently leaned on Zumu's warm chest and nodded quietly. On the side, Land Shark helped Lucario back to the Pokeball and jumped back himself. Sure enough, we just jumped out to find a sense of existence. We didn't find a sense of existence, and we lost face. Alas, I said that Zumu, that old bitch, how could he not fight back when someone scolded him in the face? TSK TSK TSK, this hunter screamed so miserably. I will change to a soundproof Pokeball later. Chapter 238, Shyarona conquers Absol. The troublemakers died, and the troublemakers were dragged away by Greninja. Zumu's trip to the secret realm this time was also a complete success, although he was a little surprised that the Sea God's secret realm was not destroyed. Manify, Fiona, are you still going to stay here? The beast was used to being kidnapped. Zumu looked at the two little guys and asked subconsciously, "Nephi, yes, this is our home. Of course we have to live here," Fiona said, and pulled Hoopa's small ring. Seeing that she was curious about his Kaienkan circle, Hoopa took a ring on his own initiative. Fiona like it? Taking Hoopa's ring, Fiona stuck her head in to take a look, and then hurriedly backed out. "I don't like it, I don't like it, it's pitch black inside, so scary." Fiona was so scared that she dropped the ring directly on the ground, and her little face turned pale. Seeing her cute appearance, everyone was also amused, and the previously unhappy atmosphere became cheerful again. In fact, this is the world of elves. It has been like this since the beginning when Zumu's father showed up and killed everyone, and when Scarface Trizzard wanted to go to war with humans. Sanyun God was fooled by President Zhao and arrogantly started a war. All of this is telling Zumu, this world is not his Nank dream. Just like Buo for thousands of years, it is not a dream after Tang San stole the Buddha's Wrath Lotus from the Tang sect and fell off the cliff. It is not the last fantasy of the future when the boy named Jian had a car accident in the Dupo world. It is not the dreams of thousands of dead otakus before they die. This is the real world. There are flesh and blood, battles, and warmth. Zumu has been here for less than a year, but he has unknowingly formed many bonds with the elves, his family, and Shyarona. To be honest, since the moment Zumu decided to accept the system, accept his fate, and become a trainer, he can't go back. "Shyarona, I will protect you forever." Looking at everyone having fun, Zumu suddenly became sentimental. Shyarona was held by Zumu's waist, and she was subconsciously stunned when she heard this. Then she blushed and nodded gently. "Silly, didn't you want to protect me forever, from the moment you held my hand?" With a sigh in her heart, Shyarona showed a happy smile on her face. No girl is really stupid. Even Shyarona, who is cute and has difficulty making choices for life, is not really naive and innocent. If she didn't like Zumu at the beginning, how could she be easily succeeded by this guy? "Cool, little master, it's done." After solving Hunter A, Greninja also politely rushed to his body. Then he clapped his hands and came back. From the screams of Hunter A just now, Zumu could easily guess that this guy had been killed by Greninja at least hundreds of times in 1,000 years. There should be dozens of kicks to cut off his offspring. "Thank you for your hard work. Take a break. We'll be back soon." Zumu patted Greninja on the shoulder. "This guy is really tall. He's almost as tall as his chin." "Cool, okay." Without being polite, Greninja sat on the ground to rest. Zumu looked at the blue frog and shook his head with a smile. This cheap dad is really good. He actually gave him such a good Pokémon. In fact, at the beginning, Zumu was a little puzzled when he saw that Greninja was his starting Pokémon. In his previous life, Zumu was just a champion in the game and had a wealth of theoretical knowledge about Pokémon, but he had never seen one in person. Suddenly, he got a king Pokémon as his starting Pokémon. To be honest, Zumu was a little panicked. However, in the battle with Yuhei Long, Greninja did not choose to ignore him, a fledgling trainer, and after the battle, Greninja also performed the ninja salute to show his loyalty. From that moment, Zumu knew that this guy might be inseparable from him. Although the blue frog is talkative, immature, and mean, this guy is the most reliable. After dealing with Hunter A, he was able to sit down and grab food with Arceus without blushing or beating his heart. This kind of big heart is definitely rare. Absol, how about you? Do you want to go with us? The beast failed to fool him. Zumu shook his head, stopped thinking about the past, and got down to business. His main job is to fool people. When the king of asking for leave saw Zumu speaking, he just missed the chance to fool Fiona, and he couldn't miss it again this time. Yo, brother, I see that you have amazing bones and the posture of a great emperor. In time, you will become a great man. Why don't you come with me? By then, we can be considered to have come all the way from being weak, supporting each other to reach the peak of the road, and achieving eternal achievements. When you and I are canonized in the future, I will be the great sage equaling heaven. You, just be a great sage equaling heaven. How about that? As expected of a professional, Absol was stunned when the King of Leaves spoke. Zumu almost couldn't help laughing out loud, but in order to show his sincerity, he tried his best to hold it back. Yes, Absol, come with me. Facing Zumu and the King of Leave, Absol, who was already unstable, became even more unstable. Crack. At this moment, Sirona suddenly spoke. Zumu, I want to have a battle with Absol to conquer him. She liked this cool-looking elf with a tsundere heart from the beginning. It's just that she never had the chance. Now that Zumu was about to conquer Absol, Sirona spoke in a low voice, embarrassed. In fact, there is nothing to be embarrassed about. We are all family. Isn't yours mine? Zumu didn't think too much about it. Instead, he felt that this Absol was Snow White and his appearance was definitely 9 points. As Sirona's elf, it is qualified, unlike Lucario and Garchomp, who are low class. Moreover, this guy is at the peak of the king level, just right for protecting Sirona. Now the land shark is still young. When this guy grows up, Sirona will probably die 100 times if she relies on him for protection. I don't believe you forgot that the first time Zumu and Sirona met was when Sirona and the land shark fell into the river. If Lucario was there at that time, what would Zumu have done? Okay, but you have to conquer this guy with your strength. Zumu said to Absol, my girlfriend likes you very much and wants to have a conquest battle with you. What do you think? Hearing this, Absol raised his head proudly and snorted. Shabu. Absol, not afraid of difficulties. I am not afraid of any challenge. Come on. Chapter 239, Lucario vs. Absol. The arrogant little Absol looked at Sirona and boldly issued his own battle declaration. Although Sirona didn't understand what Absol meant, she could get a general idea from his expression. Please, Lucario. Sirona's eyes gradually sharpened as she called out Lucario, who had just been slapped away by the violent salamander. After all, she was the Sinnoh champion in the original work, although she didn't know why she appeared in this world. But Sirona's fighting cells were not less at all. Her fighting talent was absolutely top-notch. Some people say that the Red Master and the Green Master are awesome, but that is after all a game and a comic. In the anime, these two big guys have never appeared. The reason is that the 10-year-old champion is too unrealistic, and the official dare not draw him like this. Similarly, among all the champions, the youngest and most reasonable one is the girl Sirona. In this world, only 16 years old can have a spirit, which causes Sirona's development to be forcibly delayed. Otherwise, in the original anime, the current Sirona is probably not far from the champion. It is conceivable how strong this girl's talent is. Lucario. Mega Evolve. Going all out is the minimum respect for the opponent. Sirona has no intention of bullying others. Lucario's Mega Evolution is also a necessary operation in the battle. Seeing Lucario change his form and his appearance improve, Absol immediately snorted coldly. What are you showing off? When I can Mega Evolve in the future, I will definitely be more handsome than you. Luca, let's fight. With a strong fighting spirit in his eyes, Lucario decided to show himself well. I don't know why. Since he had this guy Zumu, Lucario found that he had never successfully pretended to be cool. This is very uncomfortable. Everyone relies on their looks to make a living. If you don't let Lucario pretend, Isn't it the same as asking for his life? Under the tyranny of the social frog, Lucario didn't dare to shout, but now facing Absol, he decided to be handsome and get back his place. Crack! With a low roar, Absol took the lead in launching an attack, Hell Stab. This skill is a dark skill with great power and can temporarily prevent the opponent from using sound skills. It can be called the nemesis of Jigglypuff. In order to prevent Lucario from using metal sound, Absol chose Hell Stab to start. Lucario, dodge at lightning speed. Sirona entered the combat state, and her command ability was absolutely top-notch. Then use bodybuilding. Lucario received the order and used the speed as a flash of lightning to avoid Absol's Hell Stab while pulling the distance between the two sides, then began to show off his muscles. Crack! Seeing that the opponent was about to strengthen himself, Absol directly used the Kametachi, Whirlwind Blade, and his horn slashed out several wind blades and attacked Lucario. By the way, following the rhythm of the Kametachi, Absol used Sword Dance. This is also one of his little tricks, and Zumu nodded continuously while watching from the side. To be honest, this Absol is really good. The combat experience and talent are both top-notch, the appearance is also good, and the most important thing is that it can be ridden. What a good mount. Ahem, what a good elf. I gave it to my wife. Oh, forget it, it's my own wife, so I'll give it to her. It's not a loss. If I want to ride it in the future, it's not impossible. It's just a pity that this guy is too small to ride with two people. I'd better take good care of Arceus. When the little guy grows up, Zumu can realize his wish of riding with Sirona. On the side, Arceus, who was fighting with Greninja for snacks, suddenly raised his head. It seems. I feel that someone is calculating me. Forget it. Never mind, let's eat first. Shaking his head, seeing Greninja tear open another bag of his own snacks, Arceus was about to cry anxiously. He quickly used speed to grab it and snatch the food from the frog's mouth. Bodybuilding and Sword Dance ended at the same time. After Lucario used speed to avoid Kametachi, he directly fought at close range. Fighting type fighting against evil type, that advantage is definitely huge. Absol didn't dare to get close, so he could only use Kametachi to stop Lucario from getting close. But, just defending blindly is not enough. Just after Absol used Kametachi again, Sirona suddenly said, "Lucario, Wave Missile," then Speed. A blue energy ball suddenly appeared in Lucario's right hand. It was the signature skill, Wave Missile. Zumu looked at this small blue energy ball and couldn't help curling his lips. That's it? ? Let Frog teach this kid what an energy ball is. Lucario who can't use Rasengan is not a perfect Lucario after all. Wave Missile without Rasengan feels not perfect enough. Back to the battle. After Lucario used Wave Missile to hit Absol, he got close to Absol at speed, raised his hand and hit it with a tile split. Then he used close combat to torture Absol. Shabu. Okay, you win. After using protection and retreating to create distance, Absol habitually shook his head. Even if you admit defeat, you have to admit defeat with dignity. Lucario posed in a very pretentious pose, and was about to look back at Shirona's happy expression, but he found that Zumu had come to Shirona's side without knowing when. Hugging Shirona, Zumu held her in his arms and spun around. You are really amazing. My girlfriend is simply amazing. While spinning around, Zumu also praised her sweetly. Shirona didn't have time to look at Lucario. Her heart was all on Zumu. Hehe, I will be embarrassed if you praise me like this. Don't be embarrassed. I am telling the truth. Zumu shamelessly kissed Shirona's little mouth. Seeing this, Lucario's heart stopped and he rushed back to the Pokeball at a lightning speed. I'm going to be autistic for a while. Don't call me, no one else. Absol, we will be partners from now on. Shirona held an empty Pokeball and gently touched Absol's head. Absol instantly turned into a red light and entered the Pokeball. Shabu. Nice to meet you, my trainer, Sirona. Zumu looked at Sirona with a smile on his face as she subdued the Pokemon he liked. He didn't feel bad at all, but felt a sense of accomplishment. What do you think happened? Zumu, I'm going back too. Seeing that Zumu had almost dealt with everything, Wujitana stood up and said, call me next time if you have anything. I'm always there. Hehehe. Hash carrot dot carrot hash. Zumu nodded, indicating that he would not be polite. Slow down, you've worked hard today, go back and have a good rest. After giving instructions, Zumu watched the little Liliwujitana pass through the world barrier and leave. Chapter 240. Do you think this is the end? After sending off Wujitana, Zumu watched Manaphy and Fiona fall into a deep sleep and disappear into the mysterious land of the sea god, and then he felt relieved. He habitually held Chirona's hand with his big pig's hoof. Zumu said happily, "Let's go back." Chirona nodded. It's really uncommon to encounter so many accidents while climbing a mountain. Okay. After collecting all the elves into the elf balls, Zumu and Chirona came to Luofeng's back. I feel more comfortable calling Lugia. What do you think? Luofeng, it's so embarrassing that I only know your name after being together for so long. Zumu rubbed Luofeng's head and smiled. Well, I just knew my name too. I don't blame you. Luofeng is still very attached to Zumu. Although he is grown up now, he still likes to follow Zumu's ass, although he has become the god of the sea now and has the strength of a master. But Luofeng is not dissatisfied with Zumu riding him, but a little happy. It's great that I can do something for Zumu. Well, that's true. Zumu curled his lips. He didn't know the name, and it was really not his and Luofeng's fault. It was mainly because of that bastard Rocky. He blew up the secret realm too quickly. He only had time to leave his own name, and didn't tell Zumu Luofeng's name. Well, it's all Rocky's fault. I, Zumu, am not the kind of person who destroys the secret realm. Boom. Just as Lugia took off and was about to leave the secret realm, the world barrier was broken again. This time, the guy who came was dressed like Hunter A, but this time it was not one, but a group. Zumu looked up at the sky, and he was completely dumbfounded. Big brother, are you done? I'm not tired of playing, but my book friends are tired of reading. Okay, I still have to go back to play in the World King tournament. What are you doing? Don't let me go. The secret realm is hospitable. Secret realm, you are hospitable. Your whole family is hospitable. Chirona was also speechless, subconsciously holding Zumu's hand and looking at the sky. Zumu, call Grandpa and the others to come over. Entering the secret realm with Zumu, there were also a group of pioneers led by Zhatan Yang and others. Looking at the 25 elf hunters in the air, Zumu was overwhelmed. Are there really 26 letters? Is gone. Are you all coming here to be buried together? Okay. Zumu knew that these guys were indeed a bit too strong. If that Hunter A didn't have Wujitai as a trump card, Zumu would not be able to beat him at all. Koga Ninja's surprise triple kill was beyond Zumu's expectation. Report to the headquarters. I'm B. I saw the target, the red-haired Larilas, and a man and a woman. No trace of A has been found yet. We are looking for it. A big B was written on his clothes. This person was talking to the headquarters. After receiving the order, he said directly, XZ, you go find A, and leave this couple to us. Hunter B gave orders, and everyone replied that they had received it. Then, the opponents were divided into two groups, and the 25 people flew to the target on their own elves. I didn't expect you to be alive. Be smart and surrender yourself. We still have 25 invincible trainers on our side. It's better not to resist. Hunter B flew in front of Zumu and said proudly. Zumu was speechless. Villains are so talkative. They first persuade you to surrender, then taunt you, roar helplessly, and finally beg for mercy. They all use the same routine. So boring. Haha, you're dreaming. With a light shout, Zumu lowered his head and said to Lugia, fly faster, go. After speaking, Zumu raised his head again and looked at the dozen hunters in the air. Tell them not to look for it. That damn hunter has been killed by me. If you don't believe me, ask my frog. Cool, I told you I'm not a frog. Hunter B heard this and was instantly ecstatic. Fuck, is such a moron? Ha ha ha, great, I'll be A soon. No, you are not kidding me, right? Hunter is the strongest among us. How can he be killed by a little kid like you? How ridiculous. I won't be fooled. As he said that, Hunter B ordered his Pokémon to fly quickly and catch up with the Lugia in front. Hunter B's mount is a Sonic Dragon, which has an average flying speed. Now let him chase Lugia. Sonic Dragon said, I'm hard to deal with. Zumu didn't care about that, Seeing that the other party couldn't catch up with him, he wanted to go directly to Zhao Tanyang, but suddenly he remembered that Zhao Tanyang had only him as an invincible trainer, and the rest were all venerables. This is not right. If the hunter organization finds out, I'm afraid the whole group will be wiped out. Shirona, you sit on Arceus and go find my second uncle and tell them to leave here and find reinforcements. Lugia and I will lead them around in circles here. You just teleport away. They can't catch up with you. After figuring this out, Zumu hurriedly spoke. Shirona was a little reluctant. Zumu, I don't want to leave you alone. If I leave you alone every time there is danger in the future, then there is no doubt that women will always hesitate at this time. Just kiss directly. There are more than a dozen invincible trainers chasing behind him, but Zumu kissed Shirona. Who can stand this? Okay, listen, if you don't go, the second uncle and his men will definitely be wiped out once they encounter another group of Pokemon hunters. I'm fine. I promise you. I will absolutely guarantee my safety. You go find reinforcements to save me. Zumu said, releasing Arceus. Arceus also understood the situation. Without saying a word, carried Shirona on his back, teleported, and disappeared directly. Zumu, protect yourself. Shirona's voice was still echoing in his ears, and Zumu smiled with satisfaction. With a wife like this, what else can a husband ask for? After sending Shirona away, Zumu could also feel at ease, looking at the dozen pursuers behind him. Zumu shook his neck. Next, it's time to fly a kite. Greninja, come out to work. Do you see those guys behind? Spit on them. Spit accurately. Yes, just like that. Spit on his face. Okay, that one has never been spit on by you. Screw him. When it comes to being a bad person, Zumu and Greninja are both professionals. With a spitting taunt, Zumu directly pulled the anger of the elf hunters to the fullest, and began to pull monsters on the large map of the mysterious realm of the sea god. With these invincible strong men, he began to go around in circles. Senior Zhao, it's bad. The hunter organization has invaded the secret realm. Shirona found Zhao Tanyang and shouted directly. Zhao Tanyang was stunned at first, then hurriedly asked, where is Zumu? Quick, everyone, follow me to support my grandson. Chapter 241, Invincible Powerful Man. Zhao Tanyang. Senior Zhao, wait a minute. Listen to me. Zumu is leading them in circles. The hunter organization has 25 invincible trainers this time. We are no match for them. Zumu wants you to go out and contact Chief. Seeing Zhao Tanyang preparing to lead the charge, Shirona hurriedly stopped him. Shirona didn't expect Zhao Tanyang to react like this. He went straight to the point without saying anything, just like the Zhu family. 25? Zhao Tanyang was stunned on the spot when he heard this. Zumu, this kid is really capable of causing trouble. Did he poke the nest of invincible strongmen? 25 came out at once. There are no more than 100 invincible trainers in the entire alliance. You just came up with 25? I'm going too far. But to be honest, this hunter organization is really something. No wonder they don't even have their base in the real world, and the alliance has been tracking them down for so many years without success. 25 invincible strongmen at any time. This is really powerful. Then Zhao Tanyang lowered his head and touched his beard and thought, what Zumu said was right. Leaving here now is indeed the most appropriate choice, but if he were to take people away and leave Zumu here alone, Zhao Yuanyang would probably skin him alive if he knew. After a little thought, Zhao Tanyang said, little girl, take them away quickly, and then contact my eldest brother. I'm still worried about leaving Zumu alone here. I want to go and see. As he said that, Zhao Tanyang rode on the fire-breathing dragon and flew away directly, without giving Shirona the opportunity and time to refuse. The main reason is that the situation is urgent. Zumu's side is too dangerous. If you are not careful, you will be crushed to pieces. After Zhao Yuanyang left, all the venerables he brought with him followed Shirona to leave the sea god realm. I don't know since when, the venerables can no longer be considered as combat power. It wasn't like this before. I think a king of heaven could suppress a city and keep one side safe. What's going on now? It seems that since the beginning of Qingpan's secret realm, Everyone has generally had the mentality that the venerables are not good enough. What was the reason for that time? Oh, yes, more than a dozen venerables died, and some were defeated by Zumu in a one-on-one duel. Zumu ... okay. Oh no, I forgot to ask the little girl where Zumu is. Forget it. Let's take our time to find him. The situation was urgent and they left in a hurry. After Zhao Tanyang flew a long way, he slapped his thigh and remembered that he hadn't asked where Zumu was. But it was useless to ask. Zumu had been going in circles. After a few minutes, Zumu himself didn't know where he was, let alone Zhao Tanyang. However, the sea god realm was not really big, and the speed of the fire-breathing dragon was not slow, so they really happened to meet Zumu, who had been going in circles. Luo Feng, hurry up. The principal is over there. Let's stay away from him and don't get involved with him. In the distance, Zumu saw Zhao Tanyang and hurriedly asked Luo Feng to change direction. After going in circles with the elf hunter for so long, Zumu also gained experience. Taunt, pull monsters, and then go in circles. Simple, easy and comfortable. Although being chased like this is a bit speechless, but the situation is limited. Zumu really doesn't dare to turn back now. Are you kidding? More than 20 invincible strong men are chasing him desperately behind him. What's the difference between turning back at this time and committing suicide? Zumu said that he hasn't lived enough and doesn't want to die. Behind Lugia, in the team chasing Zumu, Hunter B stood on the back of the sound wave dragon. There was a hint of teasing in his eyes. Going around in circles? Bullshit. I just want to wait for the news of A's death, and then clean up here. Now, what kind of mythical beasts and the organization's tasks are not as important as confirming whether A is dead? As long as A is confirmed dead, the #1 strong man of the organization can become the new code name A. So, Zumu is here. B is not in the mood to care too much now, otherwise, he can't catch up with Lugia. The sound wave dragon really can't fly faster than the sea god. B. We didn't find A's body, but we found the body of A elf. It's already dead. X's report came from the communicator. Hunter B was so excited that he couldn't describe it in words. This time A was dead, and he would soon become the strongest in the organization. Become the new Hunter A. This is wonderful. Okay, if you can't find it, you can come back first. A's elf is dead, and he is probably finished too. There is an old man riding a fire-breathing dragon in the southeast. You three can stop by and catch him for me. If it's inconvenient, just kill him directly. Hunter B gave an order to act casually, and he was so excited that he couldn't describe it. This feeling of pleasure is simply unbearable. He is about to take the position, and a wonderful life is waiting for him. Now, Hunter B just wants to finish this mission quickly, catch Zumu and his beast, and then go back and live a comfortable life as Hunter A. Luxury cars and beautiful women seem to be waiting for him. Divide into 3 teams. Circle around him for me, and don't play with him anymore. With motivation, Hunter B's brain has become more useful. In fact, it's not that he has really become smart, but mainly because he has been led around in circles by Zumu. As long as he is not an idiot, he will react sooner or later. Just now, he was not thinking about Zumu, so he did not immediately divide his forces to capture Zumu. But now he is back to his normal state. How could the Hunter B, who was once so powerful, be a brainless person? Forcibly reducing the intelligence of a villain is something that only Ziabawen can do. Divided the forces? Not good. Seeing that the pursuers behind him were divided into 3 groups, Zumu secretly said that it was not good. The situation is not right. If it goes on like this, it will be bad. Before Chiao comes, I am afraid I will be caught first. But now there is no good way. Zumu can only keep running and delay for a while, resist or something, wait until he is caught. Zhao Tanyang also saw the Hunter organization and Zumu. The first reaction of this old principal was to rush up and save Zumu. However, before he could give an order, X, Y, and Z who came from a distance blocked him. Where are you going, old man? Don't run around. How about the 3 of us play with you? Hey, this is Charizard. It's quite energetic. I like such energetic Pokémon. Oh he the last one to speak was Z. The ranking of the Hunter organization is based on strength and given code names, but Z is an exception. This guy has an abnormal sexual orientation, And he is not targeting humans, but Pokémon. How to say this? Anyway, those who have read Tian Kuang should understand. If you don't understand, you can read the comments. If you can understand, please write your understanding in the comment area. If you can't understand, it means that you can still be saved. Don't force it. You can skip this paragraph and read the next chapter. Chapter 242. Disrespecting the elderly. Damn, what the hell are you? Dao Tanyang is a cultured man. As an old scholar and old principal, he never curses. But today, he made an exception. When Hunter Z opened his mouth, Dao Tanyang almost vomited. Looking at Hunter X and Hunter Y with sympathy, Dao Tanyang was also surprised that the two of them could actually carry out missions with this guy. This man is neither human nor ghost. So scary. You. What are you talking about, you old thing? You actually despise me. Wow, Brother X. Listen. He despises me? What did I do wrong to be wronged like this? Hunter Z turned his head and cried. It doesn't matter if he did this. Hunter X's mentality collapsed on the spot. Fuck. Brother, please don't do this. Hunter X looked at Hunter Y on the side with a look of help. Hunter Y hurriedly pretended not to see it. Sorry brother, I'd rather die than let my friend die. I'm sorry. Seeing that Hunter Y actually despised him, Hunter Z couldn't stand it anymore. He quickly cried and said, wow, brother, you are bad. Have you changed your mind and fell in love with this old man? What's good about the old man? He is fierce and ugly. Unlike me, I only feel sorry for my brother. Oh my god. As soon as this guy finished speaking, Dao Tanyang couldn't help but spit out his breakfast. Hunter Y looked at Dao Tanyang vomiting non-stop, and felt helpless. He thought of the day when he had just gone through thousands of hardships and became the code-name strongman of the organization, and met this monster. The joy in his heart turned into bubbles and fragments in an instant. The original longing for the code-name strongman also turned into regret. Why the hell did I have to be so competitive and become a code-name strongman? This retribution came too quickly. Thinking of this, Hunter Y began to feel sorry for himself in those days. Every day when he went to work, he didn't dare to eat breakfast, for fear of vomiting and wasting food. Hunter X was also in the same state of fear. He is an old member of the organization, and he has long been accustomed to Z, this weirdo. Sometimes, Hunter X secretly rejoices that he has such a strong ability to adapt that he can be immune to Z's soul attack. But sometimes, Hunter X is also secretly sad. He blames himself for having such a strong ability to adapt, which leads to him and Hunter Z being partners every time he goes on a mission. Well, can you stand him doing this? After vomiting, Dao Tanyang felt that his stomach was better, and he looked at Hunter X and Hunter Y in confusion. He asked politely. Faced with Dao Tanyang's polite greeting, Hunter Y was helpless. Isn't this nonsense? What if we are from the same organization and can't stand it? Besides, Hunter Z is different from the normal code-named strongman. His strength is almost catching up with Hunter A. The reason why he didn't upgrade is because this guy has a mental illness. If there is no shortage of people above, it is estimated that it is a problem whether this guy can stay in the organization. Old man, what do you mean? Do you look down on me? I don't like you. I like your strong treasured brother. What does it have to do with you? Talking too much will make you die early, you know? Hunter Z, who was just whimpering, changed his face in an instant. Seeing Dao Tanyang expressing his disgust for him, Hunter Z got angry. His gloomy eyes were like a ghost in the dark, staring at Dao Tanyang fiercely and threatening. Hunter X, who was familiar with Hunter Z, knew that this guy was definitely angry. He was going to get serious. I'm afraid the capture mission given by Hunter B could not be completed. This old man is miserable. Oh, not long to live. Then I have to see how you can live long? Can you kill me on the spot with a thing that is neither human nor a ghost? With a sneer, Dao Tanyang still looked at Hunter Z with disdain. The old man is still very strong, although he has rarely taken action in recent years. As an old and invincible strongman in the East, Dao Tanyang's strength is definitely one of the top few trainers in the East. Facing the threat of Hunter Z, Dao Tanyang not only didn't care, but began to think about how to defeat all three guys. Okay, then come on, go. My strong baby brother Mala and my little sister Mialihua. He will fight when he is unhappy, This Hunter Z is also a veteran strongman. Although his mentality is a little different from that of normal people, this guy is definitely not a weakling in terms of strength. He directly released his two main forces. Hunter Z's meaning is very simple, that is, if you are unhappy with me, then come and fight me. Dan Yang is also happy. Damn, I have wanted to fight you for a long time. Silently praying that Zumu could hold on for a while, Dan Yang released his two Pokémon, Blaze Chicken, Infernape. Please. Dan Yang's team is a standard Fire Type 3 Family God team. From the main Ace Charizard, the following ones are Blaziken, Infernape, Flame King, and Flame Fox. As for the Blazing Roaring Tiger and Flame Ace, they joined the team later and are not as strong as the first 6. But to be honest, I don't know if there are any readers who have played the 8th generation. Flame Ace is really cool. I have to say that I play it well. Old man, are you showing off your wealth to me? Including the Charizard that Dan Yang rides on his back, there are already 3 Fire-type Pokémon from the 3 starter Pokémons. Hunter Z felt a strong smell of showing off wealth coming towards him. He immediately frowned and said that he was very unhappy now and needed someone to coax him. Dan Yang could tolerate his temper, and immediately roared, "Die, bastard! Blazer, use Fire Kick." Infernape, fight at close range. As if sensing Dan Yang's disgust, Blaziken and Infernape also burst out with all their strength and attacked directly. With the roar of flames, Blaziken attacked directly, and a flaming kick went straight to Beautiful Flower. At the same time, Infernape did not show mercy, and attacked Magna directly at close range. The 4 Pokémons instantly fought together. Although they were in the mysterious land of the Sea God, the environment did not affect the fighting momentum of the 2 Pokémons. Moreover, under Dan Yang's passionate and angry battle command, they burst out with 120 times the power. This is the role of the trainer. The fiery passion and excitement moved the Pokémons and improved the Pokémon's combat effectiveness. So far, Zumu has not found a battle command method that suits him, although he is very strong in tactics. But compared with these old guys who have been immersed in Pokémon battles for decades, Zumu is still a newcomer. It's just that he is gifted, and his background and luck are slightly better. Chapter 243, Zumu is forced to fight. When Dan Yang was fighting Hunter Z, Zumu had been blocked by 3 waves of Hunter Organization strong men. The secret realm was too small after all. Without Arceus's instant movement, Zumu was still a little behind in flying a kite. In desperation, Zumu led them around the mysterious sea realm for more than 10 times, but was still blocked by someone. "Boy, keep running." Hunter B sneered at Zumu, his expression full of teasing. Just like Hunter A before, he may not know that Hunter also laughed like this before he died. Zumu is really anxious at the moment. Shirona should have left the secret realm, but for some reason, Dan Yang didn't leave. If it were just him, Zumu could have summoned the ultimate, and rushed directly to the destruction secret realm, fighting with the enemy until both died. But it's not possible now. The old man is still here. High-powered skills are not convenient to use. If he calls ultimate to come over, the more than 20 invincible trainers on the opposite side will be bitten to death by ants. Ultimate will definitely not be able to withstand it. As for Hoopa, this little guy is usually okay when he plays around. If you really want him to join the battle, well, then Zumu should buy insurance in advance. This guy can't even control the mere elves he summoned. If he uses the pot of punishment to free himself directly, then Hoopa will almost not distinguish between friend and foe, and the stability is too poor. It is definitely a double-edged sword that hurts itself 800 and the enemy 1000. So, Zumu really doesn't have any good way to break the deadlock at the moment. What he can do now is to delay until Grandpa Cheeto arrives. Haha, I won't run away, it's boring, Zumu said with a pout, looking at the 20 or so people surrounding him, and asked helplessly, "I'm just curious. Where did your hunter organization come from? I don't think I've heard of people like you here," Zumu asked before he died, and as a villain, Hunter B must answer, "This has nothing to do with being reduced in intelligence or not. It's necessary for the development of the plot. You are just a bunch of country bumpkins who sit in a well and look at the sky. Do you really think that the rocket team that is fighting with you at the border is the full strength of our world? Do you really think that the alliance in that world can control the overall situation? Ha ha ha, you are wrong. In our place, in addition to the Rocket Team, there is also the Hunter Organization, the Magma Team, the Aqua Fleet, the Galaxy Team, and other evil forces. The idiots in the alliance are already busy with their own affairs. How can they have time to help you? Hunter B laughed up to the sky, and Zumu was secretly surprised. He guessed it right. The reason why Sirona appeared in this world is definitely not accidental. The elf world is definitely connected to the world where Zumu is now. Rocket Team. Then you know Sakaki, right? Zumu asked when he saw the opportunity. Sakaki? Sakaki is an interesting guy. A few years ago, he said he wanted to marry an indigenous woman from your side. It's really a fart. His ambition is written on his face. He is not afraid of being laughed at. He is still a whore and a saint. It's disgusting. Zumu realized it. Now I understand everything. Oh my god, I almost became Sakaki's son. It's so scary. Fortunately, my mother and father eloped. Otherwise, I would have become Zeoyan's brother after traveling through time. How terrible. The man from another world who wanted to propose marriage to Chiha was Sakaki? Damn, if we calculate by age, the plot of the elf world is basically coming to an end? No, maybe it's just beginning. It seems that you know a lot. Anyway, I can die in your hands. I am not at a loss. Zumu pretended to be free and easy, preparing to get some valuable information from Hunter B. Hunter B was also in a good mood. Zumu expressed his willingness to surrender directly, and Hunter also died in this mission. Everything is developing in the best direction. It's so nice. Of course, you don't have to feel wronged to die in my hands. It's your honor. Hunter B smiled proudly. Seeing this, Zumu asked again, okay, I have one last question, and then I will hand over all the elves to you and end my life. I hope you can satisfy my last curiosity before I die. Zumu said, and he also entered the state of acting. And Luo Feng is so simple. When he heard that Zumu was going to hand himself over to others and choose to die, he was unwilling on the spot. Zumu, listen to me. Wait a minute. You let Dragonite take you to run quickly, and then I will use the power of the Sea God to wake up Fiona and Manify, and the three of us will blow up the Sea God's secret realm directly. Luo Feng's voice rang in Zumu's mind. Zumu almost broke his defense when he heard it. Damn, don't do this. Blow up the secret realm when you don't agree? Secret realm? Are you polite? What's the problem? I'm in a good mood today, so you can ask it. Hunter B, who was sure of victory, didn't worry that Zumu was stalling for time, and spoke generously. Zumu hurriedly said, that's right, I want to know how strong you are. If possible, please have a one-on-one elf battle with me. After all, although I am exhausted, I don't want to lose to an unknown person. Hunter B was quite satisfied with what Zumu said. This guy really looks like a warrior, and he also treats himself, the bad guy, as a warrior. What is this called? This is called you treat me as a national hero, and I will repay you as a national hero. Although Zumu is young, he speaks in a pleasant way, and he doesn't mean to look down on himself. Hunter B is very comfortable in this way. Okay, isn't it just a one-on-one? I'll satisfy you. After saying that, Hunter B directly released his Sand/King and looked at Zumu. Zumu didn't expect it. Is this villain so easy to fool? Or has he played too much with the King of Leave? And fooling people also has a buff bonus? He doesn't know some of the rules and feelings in the elf world, so naturally he can't understand Hunter B's current mood. In the elf world, they are just cowards who hide their heads and show their tails, and they do things that are not allowed to see the light. Naturally, Hunter B is in a good mood when he is accidentally recognized and valued by a genius from another world. Coupled with the death of Hunter A, Hunter B has almost no worries. He will be promoted when he returns and become the new Hunter A. Such a great thing is all thanks to the genius from another world riding Lugia. What's wrong with the fight? It's not a big deal. As for Zumu stalling for time, is there a problem? No problem. I, Hunter B, am not afraid. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel. Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 244, Dragonite Defeated, Zumu in Danger. Go, Dragonite. This is not the first time Zumu has fought against the invincible trainer, but Zumu was prepared before. This time there is no Gigantamax and no Mega Evolution. Greninja and Charizard are all exhausted, only Dragonite is left. To be honest, Zumu still doesn't have enough confidence. The same is true for Dragonite. Apart from anything else, he is educated, and with education, he will naturally analyze the situation in front of him. Dragonite knows that even if he explodes his Cosmo, he can't beat this top leader Sans. So, his purpose of fighting this time is very simple: lose. Okay, but you must buy time for Zumu. However, although I was mentally prepared in advance, who wants to lose when they can win? After Dragonite appeared, there was no nonsense and started the Dragon Dance directly. There was no need for Zumu's command at all. I understand that if the opponent is stronger than me, what I should do is not to rush, but to strengthen first. Zumu looked at Dragonite so sensible and nodded with satisfaction. It is worthy of being my Pokémon. The tactical intentions are clearly understood. Dragonfly, Poison Needle. Contrary to Zumu's expectation, Hunter B did not use any powerful skills, but let the Dragonfly use Poison Needle. Zumu knew that Sakaki had a special Beedrill, which was Sakaki's original Pokémon and also Sakaki's most powerful Pokémon. No one else. Sakaki's Beedrill had special characteristics, which were different from normal Beedrills. And in a certain Pokémon fan fiction that Zumu had read before, a special Dragonfly was also mentioned. If I remember correctly, it might be Aranoriki. This special Dragonfly, using Poison Needle, can 100% put the opponent into a poisoned state. Moreover, it is very powerful, just like Sakaki's Beedrill. Dragonfly, try to avoid it. Don't be hit by this Poison Needle. Zumu remembered this special Dragonfly very clearly, so naturally he did not underestimate this Poison Needle. If it were an ordinary trainer, he would definitely choose to resist this Poison Needle in exchange for the enhanced effect of Dragon Dance. But Zumu would rather give up Dragon Dance and let Dragonfly avoid the Poison Needle. The start was unexpected, so there must be a trick. As expected, seeing Dragonite give up Dragon Dance, Hunter B was shocked. Could it be that the secret of his Sandslash has been spread to this world? Zumu guessed correctly. The reason why Hunter B can achieve today's achievements and strength is thanks to this special Sandslash. This guy's Poison Needle can indeed make the opponent poisoned 100%, and after being discovered and trained by Hunter B, now the toxicity has been raised to the level of severe poison. In other words, this move looks like a Poison Needle, but it is actually a fierce toxin. It can be said to be not shady. Dragonite, Poison Attack. If the Poison Needle is ineffective, then Poison Attack. In short, the tactical point of Hunter B is to make the opponent fall into a poisoned state first. Whether it is the Crossbat or the Aber monster, almost every Pokémon of Hunter B is mainly poisonous, supplemented by sand-moving. Dragonite, Fly to avoid it. Zumu is not a novice, so he will naturally not let Sandslash hit this move. Seeing through the opponent's tactics, Zumu must of course arrange targeted defenses. Flying, Distance. Let Dragonite use long-range attacks to consume the opponent, wait until the end, and then use Reverse Scale plus Rampage to harvest. There is also the killer move of the Heaven and Earth. Zumu decided to save it for the last. It should be said that when the Dynamaxed Leaf King and the Heaven and Earth plus the Dynamaxed Dragonite stand together, it really feels like Godzilla vs. King Kong. Zumu can be said to have found the happiness of the original Earth and the alien world. Dangzin, Move the Sand. The poison attack was fruitless, and Dragonite flew into the air to avoid it. Hunter B gritted his teeth and cursed Zumu for being difficult, and changed his mind at the same time. If the poison can't work, then move the sand. Compared with Eevee, the Sandsin is the master of moving the sand. Although it can't achieve the special effect of the return shield, the Sandsin can also practice moving the sand to perfection. I saw the Sandsin picked up a piece of mud and sand from the sand on the seabed. using the energy of the ground system to directly control the moving sand and launch it into the air. Zumu was really surprised. I have never seen such an effect of moving the sand. This is not a sand sweeping move. It's almost as powerful as a mud spurting move. Dragonite, protect. When in doubt, use protection. Zumu simply didn't let Dragonite dodge. This move was probably impossible to dodge. Seeing how skilled Sand King was in using the sand sweeping move, Zumu had a rough idea in his mind. If you can't dodge it, then protect it. Dragonite was also obedient. Zumu said, so he did it. The thick sand sweeping move, like a mud spurting move, soon came in front of Dragonite. Dragonite held up a light green protective shield to block the sand sweeping move in front of it. Feeling the violent vibration from the protective shield, Dragonite was also secretly surprised. Is this the strength of the head elf? Dragonite uses Dragon Dance. The strength difference was more than one level, so Zumu naturally kept thinking about strengthening. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Hunter B seemed to have predicted Zumu's order and said directly, "You want to strengthen? No way, Sand King, split it." Dragon Dance was forcibly interrupted again, and Zumu was helpless. This is a battle with a strong man. Just like the last battle with Gale, Zumu still doesn't have much power to fight back. Whether it is the strength of the Pokémon, the tactical rhythm, or the trainer's ability, Zumu is completely suppressed. Dragonite, Divine Elemental, fight him. Reverse Scale plus Rampage. After being suppressed by Sandslash, Zumu couldn't hold on any longer. If he continued to fight like this, Dragonite wouldn't be able to hold on for too long. Being completely suppressed by Sandslash, he couldn't fight back at all. It would be better to choose to use the ultimate move and fight in advance. If there is a chance, he will strengthen it and continue to drag it out. However, his idea was good and he did nothing wrong, but he misjudged Hunter B's knowledge. The effect of Divine Elemental is similar to Gigantamax. Seeing Dragonite's body suddenly grow larger, Hunter B said in his heart, "Gigantamax?" Then he hurriedly said, "Sandslash, take this opportunity." Earthquake. It is very physically demanding for a Gigantamax Dragonite to fly. As an invincible trainer, Hunter B is naturally clear about this. He immediately ordered Sandslash to use ground-based skills to defeat Dragonite, which was standing on 2 feet on the seabed, with one move. That's right, just this one move, instantly killed it. Zumu smacked his lips. He didn't expect that after working so hard for so long, the gap between him and the invincible trainer was still so big. It seems that there is still a long way to go to defeat Kyle. Ha 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 ha, kid, your strength is really good. At your age, in your world, you should be considered one of the top super geniuses. But it's a pity that you still can't escape death today. Hurry up and surrender. Don't let me do it myself. Chapter 244. Daltan Yang shows his power. Zumu smiled bitterly and said nothing more. Surrender without a fight. Dream on. Why is this grandpa so slow? Where are the people? Haven't they arrived yet? Blazing chicken. Kick this guy into slag for me. Daltan Yang sighed. In a 2-on-2 situation, has an attribute advantage. In addition, the old principal's tactics and command completely crushed Hunter Z, and now he has taken the initiative. After letting Blaziken use the last blow to finish off the beauty flower, Daltan Yang looked at Hunter X and Hunter Y with caution. If these two guys intervened, he really didn't have much confidence. Fortunately, Hunter X and Hunter Y were also fed up with the mentally ill patient. Seeing that Daltan Yang had the advantage of winning, the two of them unexpectedly decided to stand by and watch. This pervert should die as soon as possible. It's not a loss to die in this mission. After all, Hunter is dead, and he, Z, can't afford to die. That's right, it's selling out teammates. How about it? Looking at each other, Hunter X and Hunter Y confirmed each other's intentions. Very good. After checking their eyes, we are like-minded. Hey, I lost. Why are you two so indifferent? Are you still a man? Are you a real man? Just watch me being bullied by such a rotten old man. Hunter Z is also a smart man. Seeing that he was completely beaten by Daltan Yang, his teammates were ready to stand by and watch. He immediately gasped and pretended to be disgusted and leaned towards Hunter Y. How could Hunter Y bear this? No, don't come over. I'll help you. Come on. He admitted that he was scared. Without saying a word, he released his 3 main elves, and Hunter Y was forced to take action. Similarly, when Hunter Z looked at Hunter X, who was calm and gloating on the side, this guy couldn't bear it either. Forget it this time, find a chance to sell him out next time. Thinking in his heart, Hunter X also released his 3 elves, confronted Zhao Dan Yang. Zhao Dan Yang's Blaziken and Infernape had just fought, and this was a seabed environment, which was not particularly friendly to the recovery of fire-type Pokémon. He took back these 2 and released the other 3 main Pokémon, 3 to 6. Inferno, Magma Ejection. He was not afraid. Zhao Dan Yang and Dragonite had the same attribute, that is, they were gentle and polite on weekdays, but passionate in battle. Now that both sides had already started the war, Zhao Dan Yang had no psychological burden at all. Life and death are indifferent. Just fight if you don't agree. Isn't it just 1 against 2? Back then, I fought the Rockets at the border, and I fought 1 against 10. Thinking of the glorious experience in the past, Zhao Dan Yang was not only nostalgic. When commanding, his tone was more intense. Similarly, the Pokémon felt Zhao Dan Yang's fighting spirit and fought harder. 1 against 2. So what? I'm not afraid. Just do it. Inferno took the damage of the opponent's 2 Pokémon and directly exchanged injuries. In a flash, he used his powerful explosive power to defeat a Pokémon. At the same time, the King of Yanwu and the Demon Fire Red Fox were also like this, and they were not afraid. You have more people, so just focus on 1. The 2 elves used a round of attacks to kill 1 of the opponent's elves. Although he was also injured, it was cool. After defeating 2 elves in a row, Zhao Dan Yang finally had the confidence. From this point of view, it seems that he can win. Hunter X and Hunter Y did not care too much about the defeat of their elves. They all had 6 main forces in their hands, and they had the advantage of numbers. They preferred Zhao Dan Yang's way of fighting with injuries. This way, they can win faster and not drag on. But Hunter Z is so smart. When he just fought with Zhao Dan Yang, he found that this old man was indeed extraordinary, especially the fire-breathing dragon. He always felt that this guy's strength might exceed that of the master. If this is true, then there is really no need for the 3 of them to fight. Just now, Hunter Z deliberately disgusted 2 teammates and forced them to join the battle just to find out the truth about Zhao Dan Yang. Now it seems that his guess is probably not wrong. This old man definitely has a trump card. In this case, we can't just keep messing around like this. Wait a minute, I'll go see if P can send some people to support us. This old man is weird. I'll be back soon. As he said that, Hunter Z directly let his elf run away. He rode the giant flying fish without looking back and retreated tactically. When he ran away like this, Hunter Y and Hunter X were dumbfounded on the spot. No, what's going on? Didn't we agree to sell this dead pervert? Now something seems to be wrong. Did this dead pervert sell us? Looking for reinforcements. Don't you know how to use the communicator? You have to go by yourself. Do you think I'm an idiot? Looking at each other again, Hunter X and Hunter Y also had a hunch that this old man was a little bit wrong today. No, we can't fight like this. If we continue like this, something will go wrong. This Hunter Z is definitely an old dog coin. You hold him back first. I'll go and catch Z back. This guy betrayed us. Hunter X spoke first. As an old employee of the organization, he was very skilled in running away and selling teammates on the battlefield. No, you hold him back while I catch Z. Hunter Y is not an idiot. The current situation is obvious. Whoever stays will die. One of you goes to find someone, and the other goes to catch someone. Can you come back after going? Do you think I'm stupid? No, neither of you can leave. At the critical moment, Zhao Dan Yang spoke up for justice. Hunter Z ran away, but Zhao Dan Yang couldn't stand this guy. But since these 2 guys stayed, don't even think about running away. The Clay Buddha still has a little bit of anger. Do you really think that my old principal can be controlled by you as you say? After controlling him, you want to run away? Charizard, Mega Evolution, Charizard Y. Zhao Dan Yang roared and directly used the trump card Charizard, and at the same time released all the Flame Chicken and Infernape that had fought before. The decisive battle has begun. You 2 little brothers, don't leave. Remember this in your next life. If you want to sell your teammates, You must be decisive. Opportunities are fleeting, and if you hesitate like this, you will be the one being sold out in the end. Fuck, Hunter Z, you're going to die. Hunter X roared to the sky. You pervert, if I can go back, I'll rape you first. Hunter Y followed closely behind. After shouting, Tan Yang and Hunter X looked at Hunter Y at the same time, with strange eyes. Little brother, something's wrong with you. What did you shout just now? Damn, I've been assimilated by this guy. Woo woo woo, I'm not pure anymore. Hunter Y, who reacted, was also dumbfounded, and burst into tears on the spot. On the side, Hunter X thought to himself, it's over, this kid, another one is useless. Chapter 245, Rush to the aid of Zumu. Play is play, don't joke about war. Tan Yang doesn't care what this Hunter Y is. Seeing that Zumu's situation is not good, the old man is anxious. You two get out now, I won't kill you. Tan Yang coldly stared at the two opponents after making a harsh remark. What he said is true. He really has no time to deal with these two guys now. Zumu's situation is not good. He is really anxious, and he wants to fly over quickly to help Zumu out of trouble. Give up. I don't believe it. You old man, you are very bad. You want to take advantage of our relaxation of vigilance and kill us. Dream. Hunter X finally got smart at the critical moment. He misunderstood Tan Yang's meaning and spoke rudely. Can this old principal still tolerate it? Absolutely not. Haha, Charizard, Flame Chicken, go. With a sneer, Tan Yang's 6 cells burst into full force in an instant. One jet of flame after another intertwined in the mysterious realm of the sea god. Intricate. Hunter Y and Hunter X were completely powerless to resist. However, they were punished by Tan Yang in just a few minutes and both died. Hunter Z, who had escaped before, was now taking a spaceship to escape from the mysterious sea god realm. For some reason, he always felt that something was wrong today. It seemed that if he continued to stay here, he would be wiped out by someone. With a premonition in his heart, Hunter Z did not choose to return to the team, but left directly, back to the headquarters. Tan Yang, who had solved 2 troubles, did not care about his current situation. All 6 elves were injured. So what? Saving Zumu first is important. Riding Charizard Y, Tan Yang flew directly in front of Zumu. Roar, Zumu. My dad is here. In the Pokeball, Charizard suddenly shouted excitedly. Zumu patted Charizard's Pokeball, signaling him not to be excited. Then he whispered, Old principal, why didn't you leave? Yes, why didn't you leave? I told Sirona to let you go. Why are you here? Bullshit. What will you do if I leave? You bastard, you don't take your life seriously every day. Tan Yang looked at the 22 elf hunters in front of him with a serious expression. At the same time, he did not forget to turn around and scold Zumu. This bastard is definitely going to make people angry to death. Something happened when he came to the secret realm. He is a troublemaker, just like his father in the past. I can leave. Zumu did not dare to refute and could only quibble in a low voice. In fact, he could have left. If Hunter B insisted on pressing step by step, Zumu would simply give up resistance and directly summon Wujitana or let Jahupa help. It's still okay to run away, but Zumu felt that running away like this was a bit of a loss. It should be said that so many big fish have been caught. If he runs away now, wouldn't he miss this good opportunity to catch all the strong men of the Hunter organization in vain? So, Zumu is greedy. Why don't you leave if you can, asshole? Tan Yang also guessed that Zumu might have some special means, but at this moment, in front of the absolute strength of the opponent, all of Zumu's means might be in vain. The old man becomes wise. How could he not know that Zumu, as a genius of his generation, definitely has opportunities that others don't have? However, Zumu has always had a problem, that is, he underestimates the people in the world too much. There may be few people in this world who are more talented than him, but he is still too weak now. Looking around, there are many people who are stronger than Zumu. Adventures, opportunities, who doesn't have them? Boy, I know you just wanted to delay time, not to surrender sincerely. Haha, what a coincidence. I was just delaying time just now. Hunter B didn't take Tan Yang seriously at all. Seeing Zumu was a little unconvinced after being scolded, he laughed. You said, Hunters like us who specialize in catching mythical beasts or rare elves may not have weapons that prevent space jumps and shuttles. What other trump cards do you have? Why don't you show them and let us see? Hunter B smiled confidently. His words made Zumu stunned immediately. Originally, I always thought this guy was an idiot, but how could he be an idiot if he could become an invincible strongman? Even Hunter Z, the dead pervert, knew that the situation was not right and ran away quickly, selling out his teammates. What's more, Hunter B, the second strongest person in the organization after Hunter A, Wujitana. Zumu held the necklace and began to call tentatively in his heart. Zumu, what's wrong? Wujitana, who had just returned to Orion to rest, was also very tired at this time. But when she heard Zumu's call, she hurriedly answered, "Can you come over now?" "What happened again?" "I'll go over now. You wait for me." After receiving Zumu's call, Wujitana did not hesitate at all. Although the little Lily had just experienced 2 battles and was already physically and mentally exhausted, but if Zumu had something to do, she would definitely not refuse. But, oh no, Zumu, where are you? Why can't I sense your location? Click. Hearing Wujitana's words, Zumu was completely dumbfounded. Sure enough, this Hunter B had been one-on-one with him before, just to stabilize himself. Oh no. I was calculated. Shouting in his heart that it was not good, Zumu had to sigh that he had been too smooth all the time. It was so smooth that he unconsciously underestimated everyone habitually. Huppa, can your different dimensional space still be used? Looking at the invisible Huppa beside him, Zumu did not give up and asked again. However, the reality is really cruel. Space enclosing weapons are the specialty of the Hunter organization, and they are the bread and butter of their business. This thing is used to capture super beasts like Dialga. It can be understood as an anti-escape spray in a certain Krypton-rich game. If Zumu can easily find a flaw in this, then wouldn't the hundreds of years of big organization be in vain? Swallowing a mouthful of saliva, Zumu looked at Huppa with a puzzled face. Obviously, the little guy himself was also confused. Why did the Kai and Kun circle not work? Zumu, you should understand this time. These guys, no matter which world they are in, are absolutely strong. In fact, each of them may have walked out of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. You are very talented, but how long have you been a trainer? Compared with these guys, you are not even a little bit behind in experience or strength. I hope you can remember what happened this time, and in the future. Don't underestimate anyone. As he said, Dao Tanyang showed a bitter smile on his face. He stretched out his big hand and patted Zumu on the shoulder. As your second uncle and your old principal, let me teach you a lesson today. Charizard, Blaziken, Infernape, prepare to meet the enemy. Chapter 246. Who dares to touch my son? Dao Tanyang shouted these words heroically. He had actually made plans to sacrifice himself a long time ago. He knew a long time ago that Zumu was still too young. If this kid continued to go on like this outside, he would suffer sooner or later. Therefore, when he heard that Zumu was also there for the task of opening up the secret realm, he chose to rush here as soon as possible. The purpose was to be a shield for Zumu, a fault tolerance, and a protective umbrella. Sure enough, this time he came to the right place. A calm smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Dao Tanyang rode on Charizard and looked at the 22 invincible trainers and dozens of elves in front of him. He was fearless and fearless. Even if there were thousands of people, I would go. Old thing, you are fucking going to die. Dao Tanyang took his 6 elves and launched a suicidal attack on all hunters. Wherever he went, flames were rampant, including Dao Tanyang. 1 person and 6 pets completely gave up any defense. There was no intention of defense at all, just rushing forward, unstoppable. Kill anyone you see, chop the elves you see. The 22 strong men of the Hunter organization have experienced countless battles over the years, but they have never seen such a desperate fighting style. What is Dao Tanyang doing? A suicide attack, and taking the main elves with him. Ha ha ha, come on, even if I die in battle today, I will drag a few bastards to be buried with me. Roar, old man, I will accompany you today. Chamo, me too, we will be together. Yahi, of course we will be together, life and death together. The elves fought with Tanyang, even though they were already covered in wounds before. They were still fearless at this moment, mobilizing the last bit of strength in their bodies and charging. Bang! Charizard's elf ball automatically bounced off. Charizard jumped out of the elf ball. Roar! Dad, are you crazy? Are you going to die? Charizard, who was fighting, turned around and found that it was his son who was roaring, and smiled coolly. Roar! No, brat, your dad spoiled you too much, so you developed that cowardly character. Fortunately, your trainer doesn't despise you, and thanks to his care, you have grown up. Remember, you must train hard and become stronger in the future. Don't let your trainer down, and don't let yourself down. As he spoke, Charizard was suddenly hit by a destructive death ray, and his wings were shattered by this blow, and he was shaky in the air. Tanyang, who was sitting on him, hugged Charizard's neck tightly. Old buddy, are you okay? You are still distracted in the battle? Although Tanyang was startled, he did not blame Charizard, but laughed and teased. Roar! Isn't this teaching my brat? Okay, watch me next. With a roar, Charizard said that he would be serious. The battle came quickly and went quickly. When there were more than a dozen elves' bodies and 3 human bodies on the bottom of the sea god's realm, Zumu's eyes were completely wet. Tanyang died in battle. His 6 main elves, with the exception of Wooly, all died with him. None of them were cowards. All fought to the end, fought to exhaustion, and fought to sacrifice. Tanyang's suicidal charge resulted in the replacement of 2 trainers of the Hunter organization and more than a dozen elves. It successfully delayed Zumu for 10 minutes. The process of the battle was too tragic and too passionate. Zumu witnessed everything with his own eyes, but he could only be a powerless bystander. The old principal's attitude is very clear. I came here today to die, to be a bulletproof vest for you, Zumu, and to exchange your life at a critical moment. Now, he got what he wanted. You are really a bunch of bastards. Zumu's eyes were scarlet, and he raised his head and looked at Hunter B viciously, his emotions gradually out of control. At the same time, the same was true for Greninja and Charizard. His eyes were red, and his whole body was filled with hatred. Haha, everyone is surviving in the cracks and working hard to stay alive. To be honest, this old man's behavior is stupid. Is it worth it to lose your life to save a little idiot like you? It's just a delay of 10 minutes. What can 10 minutes change? Today, you still have to die. Hunter B looked relaxed and comfortable, as if enjoying the joy of a winner, squinting his eyes and said arrogantly. Zumu looked at this bastard and clenched his fists tightly. His teeth were clenching. Greninja, Charizard, fight me again. Dare you? Cool. I am Greninja, willing to go through fire and water for the Zoo family for generations, no matter what. Roar! Zumu, I want to avenge my father. Zumu and the 2 elves were completely furious, looking at Tanyang's fallen body on the ground. This was the first time their hearts were deeply shocked. Okay, revenge. Nima, even if I die today, I will fight my way out and let them taste the pain. With a roar, Zumu, Lugia, Charizard, and Greninja completely gave up defense and turned to charge. Since they can't run away, then they won't run. Isn't it just a death? Who would be afraid? At this time, Zumu was completely crazy. Even Charizard, who was usually the most stable, broke his character and charged directly. Ha ha ha. Young people are young people. It's just the death of an old man. Why are you so excited? It's not a big deal. Look at your furious appearance, like a pitiful little sheep. Do you want to wag your tail with me and beg for my forgiveness? Hunter B laughed wildly, not taking Zumu's charge seriously at all. Just kidding, Zumu is not an invincible trainer. Even Tanyang's wave of self-sacrifice just now did not pose much threat to their Hunter organization. What about Zumu? It's just a small problem. Bullshit. You're going to die. Zumu yelled, not caring about anything, and only wanted to kill Hunter B, but Hunter B was not an idiot. How could he stand there and wait for Zumu to kill him? It was just a small move, and he avoided Lugia's attack, and then continued to laugh wildly. That's it, boy. This is not enough to kill me. Everyone, listen to my order. There's no need to keep this kid alive. Kill him. Catch Lugia. Hunter B gave the attack order. All hunters were also ready and were about to launch a full-scale attack. At this moment, a majestic voice came from a distance. I see who dares to touch my son. Damn, it's him. He's here. Riding the warrior eagle. A beautiful middle-aged woman stood beside him, flying from a distance, carrying endless murderous aura. Chapter 247. He has to be my real father. As Zhu Feng descended on the warrior eagle, his face was as cold as frost. Similarly, Dao Yu, who had always treated people with gentleness and peace, was also furious at this time. His son was bullied. He looked at every elf hunter at the scene with murderous eyes. Is Uncle Zhao dead? Seeing Zhao Danyang's body at the bottom of the sea, Dao Yu's eyes became even colder. Yeah, at this moment, Zhu Mu actually felt a little aggrieved. His nose was a little sour. Okay, I know. Dao Yu was so angry that she almost trembled. She floated to Zhu Mu's side. She hugged Zhu Mu gently and said in the softest tone possible, "I'm sorry for wronging you, son." Zhu Mu gritted his teeth and tried hard not to let his tears fall. "There's nothing wronged. I'm going to kill them all." Okay. The one who answered Zhu Mu was his chief father, Zhu Feng. Cat boss, Greninja, come out. After releasing two elves, Zhu Feng stood on the back of the warrior eagle, and the murderous aura continued to flow out of his body. It's him. Hunter B saw Zhu Feng clearly, and he was stunned. Isn't he confronting Team Rocket at the border? Why is he back? Is this kid his son? Can I go back alive today? A series of questions appeared in Hunter B's mind. He looked at Zhu Feng carefully and swallowed hard. It was not only Hunter B who recognized Zhu Feng, but also the other hunters behind him. Zhu Feng's name has long been spread in the hunter organization. It can be said that you don't know the chief of this world. It doesn't matter. But you must know Zhu Feng. Who is he? He is the god of war at the border and the soul-level figure of this world. In an instant, everyone in the hunter organization had the idea of escaping. However, the space-enclosing weapons used before completely cut off their retreat at this moment. Want to run? Even Hoopa can't run away, let alone these invincible trainers. Do it. Zhu Feng's words were like a death warrant from hell. When he opened his mouth, the 22 hunters in the hunter organization almost knelt down in fear. Resist? Hee. You are talking about resistance to a super executioner who kills people without hesitation? They have no idea of resistance at all now. They only think about how to sell out their teammates and run away. They are both invincible trainers, but who is Zhu Feng? He is the peak of invincibility. He is a person who can confront Sakaki head-on. In the Pokémon world, Zhu Feng is an absolute champion-level master. It's so easy to deal with them. Cool. My dad is here too. Shouting in surprise, Greninja waved and greeted Zhu Feng's Greninja. Dad, long time no see. Zhu Feng's Greninja saw his son, turned his head coldly, and pouted. Cool, stupid boy. You can't even protect your master. Is this what I taught you? Watch out. Treat the enemy like you're dead. After that, Cat Boss and Greninja acted at the same time and rushed into the group of hunters. Crazy slaughter. Pokémon, sorry, just kill them instantly. Dare to resist, that's even worse. Come back and slash. Human, even better. Harvest at will. In an instant, blood was everywhere. Countless blood, almost dyeing the sea god's mystery realm red. Son, don't look if you don't feel well. Now you looked at Zhu Mu and said softly. Her son was already stained with a lot of blood at this time, and his hair was blown messy by the strong wind when he ran away. It's okay, he won't feel uncomfortable. Zhu Mu shook his head, indicating that he was fine. He wanted to see with his own eyes that all these elf hunters fell down and buried without Danyang. For Zhu Mu and Jiu, he was willing to hide his identity and become a middle school principal. Day after day, for several years, he could give up his former glory and willingly watch Zhu Mu, a junior, grow up. Compared with Liu Yang, Zhu Mu sometimes felt that he was closer to Zhao Danyang. However, this elder who was the best to him died today because of his willfulness. Despise the opponent. Mom, I was wrong. Zhu Mu leaned on Jiu's shoulder and said slowly. Jiu gently stroked Zhu Mu's head. People make mistakes, but someone is willing to make up for your mistakes with his life. Kid, this is your luck. You must remember your second uncle. In his lifetime, all his children died in battle on the border, and he regarded you as the last hope of the Zhao family. It's your luck that he is willing to sacrifice for you today. In the future, I'm afraid there won't be another second uncle willing to make up for your mistakes with his life. Jiu said, looking at the battle not far away. At this time, The battle was nearing its end. Zhu Feng's cat boss and Greninja are too powerful. It's so powerful that it exceeds the limit that normal elves can reach. It is said that Zhu Feng's cat boss once fought Sakaki's cat boss head-on for nearly half an hour, and he didn't lose at all. This shows how strong Zhu Feng is. Son, this guy, leave it to you. Greninja threw Hunter B on the ground like throwing garbage. Zhu Feng looked at Zhu Mu and asked, "Okay." Zhu Mu nodded heavily, slowly walked to the front of Hunter B, looked at Hunter B crawling on the ground and begging for mercy, and said, "You were very good. I underestimated you before. Come on, stand up. Let's fight again fairly. You should have 2 Ls left, right? Then let's play 2 on 2. The winner is free, but the loser will stay in the God of the Sea Guide realm." After Zhu Mu finished speaking, he looked at Zhu Feng. Zhu Feng nodded slightly. He fully approved of Zhu Mu's choice, and he had to stand up from where he fell. Since his son was calculated by this Hunter B once, he had to defeat him again. Moreover, Zhu Feng heard that Zhu Mu's voice was less angry than before. Instead, there was a hint of maturity. A traverser is not a god. Along the way, he had a chief grandfather, a father who was a god of war, 7 aunts, an ordinary mother, and a chief father-in-law. It was too smooth. It was so smooth that Zhu Mu naturally regarded himself as the protagonist of the world. However, people are not saints, who can be perfect. Since he was wrong, Zhu Mu had to admit it. Not only did he have to admit it, but he also had to correct it and change it. Then, the first step to change it was to defeat this Hunter B personally and keep him here forever to be buried without Dan Yang. Greninja, Charizard, come together. It was still these 2 guys. Although they had experienced many battles before, at this moment, Zhu Mu's first choice was still the 2 of them. Cool, little master. I have been waiting for a long time. Roar. Dad, your son has avenged you. The 2 elves came to Zhu Mu with the desire to fight in their eyes. Chapter 248, Father, what's wrong with your face? Hunter B didn't want to resist. A fair fight? Bullshit. The great devil Zhu Feng is here. Can you fight me fairly? Your own father is the referee. Is this fair? However, the reality is like this. No matter how much Hunter B doesn't want to resist, he can only be forced to resist. Even ants try to survive, let alone a strong man who has experienced thousands of battles. As long as there is a chance to survive, Hunter B will not let it go. Fight to the death. Adjusting his mentality, Hunter B slowly stood up. Are you sure that if I win, you will let me go? Looking at Zhu Feng, he asked again. Zhu Feng nodded nonchalantly. You are just a small character. If my son can't even beat you this time, why should I kill you? Give up and go back. It's not bad to be a whetstone for my son. Zhu Feng's words won Zhayu's approval. Indeed, it's a good idea. Zhu Mu won, revenge was successful, and everyone was happy. If he loses, let this guy go back and use him as Zhu Mu's motivation in the future, and as a whetstone for Zhu Mu to become stronger in the future. This is not bad. As expected of my man, this brain is really useful. Zhao looked at Zhu Feng with appreciation and thought it was okay. Seeing that Zhu Feng had no intention of hiding anything and said it so directly, Hunter B felt like crying. Is this the difference between a child from a poor family and a second-generation child? I have worked hard all my life, but in the end, I just want to be a whetstone for this kid Zhu Mu. This is not appropriate. Go, Nidoking, Boss Court. Since you want to fight, then come on. Although Hunter B was desperate, he still did not give up the last chance. Releasing his last 2 Pokémon, Hunter B was ready to give it a try. Charizard, Mega Evolution, Greninja, Bond Transformation. Zhu Mu gave an order, and the 2 Pokémon began to transform instantly. On the side, Zhu Feng and his Greninja were shocked. Bond Transformation? What the hell? Cool. How should I know? Greninja, are you hiding something good from me? Cool, Master. I really don't have anything. It must be my kid who has hidden something good. I'll ask him after the fight. Zhu Feng and Greninja's father's conversation were heard by Zhu Mu without missing a word. Looking at Greninja who was posing in front of him, Zhu Mu couldn't help but feel distressed. My own frog may have to bear the love from his father later. Great. Charizard, Dragon Dance. Greninja, let your father see your progress. Shadow Clone Technique. Super Large Spiral Water Shuriken. Zhu Mu gave the order, and Greninja took action directly. Quickly transformed into dozens of clones, and then 2 clones in a group, directly used the ultimate move. This beautiful operation made Zufang's Greninja drool. Good guy, I don't know these fancy things. Where did my son get this? No, I must take good care of this kid later and let him know that good things cannot be kept to oneself. Share with daddy. Bosquedoro, use Harden. Nidoking, Earth Power. Hunter B was shocked when he saw Zumu's move, but he reacted immediately and began to organize a counterattack. Bosquedoro shouted and strengthened himself directly on the spot. Nidoking stared at Greninja and stomped on the ground. Earth Power. Boom. With a loud bang, dozens of Greninjas, except for the few clones that just jumped up, were all destroyed by the Earth Power. They didn't even have time to scream, and the super large jade spiral water shuriken in their hands that they hadn't had time to launch could not be maintained and dissipated in the secret realm. In less than 1 round, Greninja's signature combo was broken. This really made Zumu feel some pressure and shock. To be honest, this is the first time that Zumu has been broken by this move since his debut. Logically speaking, this move of Greninja is definitely a unique and famous skill. Unexpectedly, Hunter B was able to crack it the first time he saw it. Sure enough, I underestimated these invincible trainers before. To become a strong person, you have to have some skills. Greninja, motivate yourself. Charizard, it's your turn. Show your true strength. Evil Flame Dragon, there is no extra nonsense. If the opponent is stronger than you, then just use the big move at the beginning. It doesn't make much sense to use those small skills. The main thing is that it doesn't hurt even if you hit someone. I saw that the strengthened Charizard X opened his mouth and fired an Evil Flame Dragon. This is a super skill with power comparable to Zumu's. Zumu is confident that even if he uses the hardened Bosquedoro, it will be difficult to take on Charizard's super move. However, Bosquedoro, protect, then climb. Hunter B's rhythm is too steady. He doesn't give Zumu any chance at all, even though the attack of Charizard and Greninja were almost seamlessly connected. But even so, Hunter B still picked a safe opportunity and chose to use protection to block Charizard's Evil Flame Dragon. At the same time, he resisted several super large Jade Water Spiral Shuriken from Greninja. The current situation seems to be Zumu's full-time attack and has the advantage. But in fact, Zumu really has no advantage at all, and is still firmly suppressed by this Hunter B. Seeing this, Zufang frowned and was secretly worried about Zumu. At the transmission channel of the mysterious realm of the sea god, Shirona brought Chio, Zumu's 7 aunts, hundreds of venerables from the east, and more than a dozen invincible trainers. The vast reinforcements were parked at the secret channel at this time. Shirona, why did you come out? At this time, Kyle, who had just treated his facial injuries, also arrived. He was worried about Shirona's safety, so he just bandaged his face and took his Metagross to the mysterious realm of the sea god. Just happened to meet Chio and others. I came out to find reinforcements, thinking of Zumu still staying alone in the secret realm to deal with the hunter organization. Shirona lowered her head in shame. However, the situation was urgent, and there was no time to complain or blame. Shirona hurriedly said, let's go, and quickly. Zumu and Senior are still in the secret realm. As she said, Chio and Kyle also hurriedly brought the reinforcements they brought, rushed through the transmission channel, and entered the secret realm. Just after entering the secret realm, Shirona rode Arceus to Kyle's side. Asked a question she was curious about just now. Father, what's wrong with your face? Kyle, being beaten by your future parents-in-law. Chapter 249. A festive chapter number. When everyone arrived at the scene, Zumu's family was collecting the bodies of Zhao Tanyang and his Pokémon. The moment Zhao Yuanyang saw it, tears streamed down his cheeks, and Shirona probably guessed what happened. Tears could not stop flowing down her cute little face. Most of the trainers in the sky had contact with Senior Zhao Tanyang, and some were even his former subordinates or disciples, and had been promoted by Zhao Tanyang. For a time, a sad and heavy atmosphere began to spread throughout the sea god realm. Are they all dead? Kyle came to Zumu and his parents and asked softly. Yeah. After arranging Zhao Tanyang's body, he dragged the bodies of Zhao Tanyang's 6 Pokémon aside, preparing to take them back to the human world for burial. Zhu Feng nodded gently. Charizard looked at his father's body solemnly, and was speechless for a long time. Roar. Dad, you always say I'm timid and that I don't look like your kind. In the end, you're still gone. Always so reckless, always rushing to the front in a fight. What's the point in the end? You're still lying on the ground. Tears gradually flowed from the corners of Charizard's eyes, but they were quickly absorbed by his skin and turned into physical strength. Greninja looked at the uncomfortable old Charizard, not knowing how to comfort him, and walked to his father with a sigh. Cool. You performed well just now. Zhu Feng's Greninja gave his son a thumbs up. Then he looked around, grabbed his son and took him behind a reef on the seabed. Tell me, where did you get these fancy things? Did you hide it from me? Good guy, I've lived for so many years, but I don't know as many things as you. Zoomew. Sirona jumped off Arceus and rushed into Zoomew's arms. Zoomew was covered in blood at this time, and his hair was messy, like a bunch of dead grass. Sirona didn't care. Her little face was pressed against Zoomew's neck. Her voice choked. Don't leave me again in the future. Zoomew was stunned. That's not right. I asked you to go first. How could I leave you? But seeing Sirona crying with tears in her eyes, Zoomew didn't want to argue anymore. He gently put his arm around Sirona's shoulders and said, Okay, we will always be together, but if there is any danger, let me be in front. Sirona stopped talking and just hugged Zoomew and sobbed softly. Kyle looked at Zhu Feng holding Xiaoyu and Zoomew holding Sirona. He lowered his head silently. I can't play anymore. Really, I can't play anymore. Bullying single dogs? Zhu Feng, are you done? Coming to Zhu Feng's side, Qiao first looked Zoomew up and down. Seeing that Zoomew had no problem, he set his sights on his daughter. After observing that his daughter Xiaoyu had no problem, he asked. Zhu Feng nodded. They are all dead. The headquarters of the Hunter organization doesn't seem to be in their world. I will go back to investigate later. Qiao nodded, squatted down, looked at Zhao Tanyang lying down, and wiped the tears that had just flowed out. Brother, are you just going to leave me like this? You have been fighting all your life. You always told me that you have been fighting all your life, and you have not been able to protect your daughter or your son. Today you have made a difference. The last seed of our family was protected by you. Just go, find a good position for me over there, and when I go down, I will accompany you. We brothers will fight side by side down there. It's just right. You can see your son and daughter too. As he spoke, Qiao choked up again. Zoomew looked at his grandfather squatting on the ground, and after comforting Sirona, he walked to his side. Grandpa, I was wrong this time. Zoomew lowered his head, like a child who had done something wrong, with shame on his face. Wrong? Qiao heard Zoomew's voice, turned his head, and stood up. What did you do wrong? Opened up the mysterious realm of the sea god and wiped out the 26 invincible masters of the Hunter organization. It bought enough time for the arrival of reinforcements. What did you do wrong? As he spoke, Qiao suddenly shouted, attracting everyone's attention. Everyone, my grandson, Yuntan Wang Zoomew, today, you have made great contributions to our human race again. We wiped out the 26 invincible masters of the Hunter organization, and led the opening of this secret realm with a record of 1 for 26. It is really a great blessing for my East Land and a great blessing for the human race. Now, I propose to drink for my young genius in the East Land, drink for my grandson Zoomew, drink for my sacrificed brothers. Zhao Yuanyang's voice was extremely penetrating. Every word he said was infecting everyone's heart. Although Zhao Tanyang died in the battle, this battle was definitely an unprecedented victory. 26 invincible masters were wiped out. It's rare in a century. At this time, under the leadership of Zhao Yuanyang, the reinforcements from the East Land and Western Europe shouted, Cheers to Master Zoomew! Cheers to the human race! Looking at the stunned Zoomew, Zhao Yuanyang slowly smiled. Kid, don't think about carrying everything on your own shoulders. You are still young, and there are some things that you don't need to carry all on your shoulders. How can there be no deaths in war? Do you think you made a mistake and underestimated your opponent? Then let me ask you, why should you kill all the 26 invincible opponents without losing a single person? You just said that you were wrong, because your underestimation of the enemy and self-confidence led to Tanyang's death, right? If so, Then I tell you now, you are still wrong. You haven't really changed your self-confidence. You still can't look at the problem from a global perspective. Dan Yang died alone in exchange for such a great result. This is a great victory. We can feel sad and regretful for Dan Yang's sacrifice, but we must also feel honored and proud for the victory of this war. You said the 3 words you were wrong, which proves that you still underestimated your opponent. Again, why should they be annihilated by you? But you didn't lose a single person. Why? Aren't your opponents human beings? Aren't they born by their parents? Do they have to be inferior to you? So, you still haven't woken up. You still underestimate your opponent. Zhao Yuanyang's words, like a heavy hammer, hit Zhu Mu's heart with a bang. At this moment, he seemed to have really understood. Zhu Feng smiled. Zhu Mu still lacked a lot in terms of the overall situation. This kid is still young, son. Learn more from your father in the future. You are still too young. Look at your father. When I had you at the age of 20, I stepped onto the battlefield. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.